Dale Not Dale Podcast.
What's up, Vonnie? What? Oh. What's up, Vonnie?
Hi.
What are you doing, man?
Nothing.
We are... I'm not going to say it.
No, you're not.
I'm going to let you say it.
Nope. I just said hi like Leonardo DiCaprio on What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
It's a great show.
Hi.
It's a great movie. God, I used to watch it all the time.
Such a good movie. He did a really good job in that movie.
Johnny Depp, too.
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
You know anything cool around here?
Oh, here we go. This segment is sponsored by Dale's Ego.
Yes. Dude, we need to do that each week.
Dude, every week.
I got something I can talk to each week about my ego.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, but this is... So I got invited by the Texans to play in their celebrity flag football game.
Yeah.
And we rang victorious.
Yeah.
And it was all mainly because of my tribute to with the game. Don't lie.
I was there, okay?
And?
I'm going to give you credit where credit's due.
Okay.
You did make a very good catch.
I made a good catch on a very badass throw.
And I would have done it with one hand.
I figured.
Yeah.
That was a big ball. That was the Duke one. That was the actual, the pro ball.
Yeah, that was it was way overinflated.
It had 20 pounds of air in it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I played that yesterday. Vaughn and his wife and kid, they all came with us as well as my wife and kids. So man, it was fun. We got to go. It's a lot of like local Houston. There was like some select like actors. There was some rappers and athletes that played in it with us. And I've actually got like 5 guys that I've connected with for the podcast. So. Which could be good, sir.
I saw you rounding them all up afterwards.
I did, dude.
Got to.
Networking, baby.
Got to.
So, but met some cool people, man. Hung out with Mo again because he was at the Brady Bomb. Mo was actually the quarterback, dropping dimes. He could sling the rock.
Yeah, for sure.
He could sling it. But so, man, it was fun. So we won, and it was just I had like an extra point play, but then my second catch I made was in overtime. And dude, I made the guy threw a ball, like he just threw it to an open spot, knowing I was going there.
Yeah.
And I freaking dove and caught it and barrel rolled and made the catch.
You know what I'd have done after I caught that and rolled? I'd have stood up and been like, "We're back!"
That was good.
Yeah, dude. Ready for that? Got you.
I wasn't ready. Oh man, that was a good one,
dude. I'm telling you.
You got to do that for you gotta like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
For the show.
Yeah, I'll do that from now on.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
That one got me. I want to be surprised with it. That makes it funny.
Okay.
That's
perfect.
Good. But yeah, so we did that. Got a ring out the deal. Met Bun B. Met some cool people, man. It was a cool event. Texans are always good to me and Kiki and get us involved. We got to go back. They got a training day coming up soon. They're going to do I forgot what it is. They're doing a practice with another team. So
yeah,
I'll see how many tickets I can get. We did that like 2 years ago. It's fun. Go hang out, food, drinks, watch them play, and then they come sign a bunch of footballs, throw them out to the crowd. I got a Justin Reed one like 2 years ago, which was pretty cool. So, but yeah, man, we got a guest in studio today, Mr. Nick Morrison.
Nick Morrison.
He is a comedian, a clean comic. Which, like I said, man, one of the best comics out right now that's killing it. Nate Bargatze is a clean comic, and man, his stand-up is one of my favorites.
Yeah, dude, he's great.
So it doesn't matter. Storytelling and funny, it doesn't need cuss words. Like I said, it doesn't need to be grotesque or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's cool that these guys have an avenue for that. It works you can go to a nightclub where you wouldn't think and do a clean show. It's still funny, you know?
I think it would be harder to be a clean comic for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Just because the world's so
the world likes the world likes dark.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. But they got their way, man. I don't know. Like that one story he talked about was Buddy that I sent y'all.
Yeah.
That's he's got some good stuff, so we'll share it for him for sure. But yeah, we got Nick Morrison coming in, so I'm excited to have him in studio. Met him through actually Sean Dolan, who was on the on the episode before. He's a Houston comedian as well, so I guess they run the same circles. So that's how he found us.
Such a funny circle.
It's funny. So what's not funny is Good Ranchers. Dude,
Good Ranchers ain't funny. They're serious.
they're serious. You know what they're serious about right now?
I bet they're meat.
Locking in your pricing on for 2 years. That's a big push they got right now.
It is a big push.
You got to so like that is pretty crazy. Like I get it. Like I said, because you can't control.
You know how much of a gamble that is?
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's like somebody saying, "I'm going to sell you steel at today's price for the next 2 years,
No matter what.
And you could either do really, really well,
Yep.
or really, really not well.
Yeah. Well, that's just how good these people are. Good ranchers. They're going to pass that down to you no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope it works out.
They're taking the gambling out of buying meat from a store.
Yeah. Ain't no need to gamble on meat.
No, dude. I never would. Plus, it's to get your hands on that. So you're trying to deal meat. It's gross.
Could you imagine having to tip the dealer in
Here's
the steaks?
Here's a tri-tip. That's a beef tipping joke.
I know. I like
Okay.
tri-tip.
Okay, good.
I like tri-tip. It's like knockoff brisket that you can do in 2 hours.
Yeah, you can cook it quick.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah. So, I mean, by the time you're hearing this, dude, we've been to Indy again. We've been to Indy again. I don't know how it is. We'll do an Indy recap again.
Yeah, we'll recap Indy again. This will be a different experience.
This will be different.
Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to see the road course, and we're going to see NASCAR.
And we're streaking. Nobody's ever streaked on a NASCAR event.
You don't think?
I don't think so.
Google it, Magnus.
Magnus, if you could pull that up.
We'll find that out. But yeah, we're excited. We got Nick Morrison in, local comedian that's kind of blowing up. He's been doing a lot of stuff. I know he's got a good little following. So we're gonna hear from him, promote him, try to see if there's any shows we can kind of go catch with him. So, find anything, Magnus?
I think there was a streaker today.
No way.
Yeah.
There may have been a streaker today.
That
February
is ridiculous.
That might be pretty common.
It might be common, Magnus said.
They're like full no clothes. I mean, some people, they streak in their underwear.
Well, that ain't streaker.
Anyway, I'll figure it out. You know what I'll do? I'll probably streak and lay on the track butt naked on the last lap. I bet nobody's done that.
Okay. Google it, man. Google pictures. So
Let's get streak.
but yeah, let's get Mr. Nick in here, get him rolling, man. Like it's always fun to talk to comedians. So
Let's do it.
all right.
Uncle Dale and Vaughn with stories to unfold. So sit back, relax, and behold. We discussing life and all its ups and downs. Tune in from your side of town. Talking pop cultures, movies, and TV shows. Giving the thoughts and much more. This shit is style, clothes, and gadgets galore. Keeping you entertained, you'll be begging for more. Cause we gon' laugh and hey, maybe even crying. But one thing's for sure, you'll be smiling. Cause Uncle Dale and Vaughn are at your side. So come along, join, and let's ride.
They bring the heat, and the guests are supreme. They ain't just
Am I good?
We're recording. So, as you can see to my right, we have Mr. Nick Morrison, comedian.
And I'm a man of my word.
He is a man of his word.
Got my Crocs and socks.
The Crocs and socks.
Yes, an homage for your boys.
It's a good look, man. Hey,
But I do not pull them off as well as they do.
kids do it well, man. Like that's
Yeah.
all they do.
Well, they also do the shorts. I got the pants, so I think I look more dorky with it.
The
But you don't want me with shorts. Your white balance, your cameras would be.
You're translucent.
Oh, dude! Like if I go out to mow the lawn, my neighbors they get confused because the glow coming off. They think Jesus had returned. So even Stevie Wonder's like, "Dang son, that's bright." Like it's just.
I thought you were gonna spontaneous combust out there. In the sun.
Exactly. So you don't want me in shorts. So I tried it and I put pants on. So
Well, good. So
we'll
we
get you a tan.
ended up getting connected to you through Sean Dolan, who we had on the
Yeah.
podcast before. I guess from when he was on, and then he shared the stuff. You saw us. I'm
Yep,
guessing
yeah,
I think we kind of connected after that.
Yep, connected.
So
Been messaging back and forth. And,
yeah, man. Like, dude, we're breaking the comedy, and we're trying to bring all kind of people on that we want to talk to. I looked at your stuff and stuff we've been talking about. Like, you got a pretty big background of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of stuff we could talk about, but like get you on and talk about your comedy, man. See about
for sure.
Find out more about that world.
Yeah. It's still a new world for me. I'm only about 3 years in, and so I'm still adjusting to a lot of it and learning a lot of it, and I've always been a go my own way type guy, and so I'm not approaching comedy like most people do, where you got to do 10 years of doing open mics till you can actually, like, I'm 41. I ain't got time to do 10 years open mics, and so I'm trying to pave my own way instead of just doing the only comedy clubs, or they call them the 5 C's. You're either comedy clubs or your cruises or your casinos, conferences, churches. And I'm like, I'll do all of them. Like I've done casinos. I haven't done cruise yet, but I've done.
I've seen some Burt Kreischer's got a big cruise coming up. Like ton of his buddies.
You'll have a lot of those where they'll like do a cruise, and then, and it'll be like a lot of comedians, and so part of going on the cruise is to see all these comedians, and I think so they have a lot of those like that. Yeah.
My path is simply Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any of the opening. I'm not wasting any of my time.
So you don't want to just go straight to Netflix.
I just want my own special.
Yeah, if you can do that, bring me with you, because that
Look.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming it into existence here.
Yeah, hey, I'm all about that. So I'm working myself to trying to get that way, and yeah, it's hard to get a special. I've learned that comedy's a lot like rodeo. It's the higher levels you get, the more family it becomes. Okay. And one of the biggest respect for me is guys that I look up to, guys I've been fans of years before I even thought of being a comedian, are getting a hold of me and saying, hey, we're on your radar, or you're on our radar, like, keep it up, keep plugging away, you're going to get there eventually type stuff. And so that just means a lot. Cool. Yeah, and so
that'll keep pushing you.
Yeah, and then you get to the lower end, the open micers, they're pretty backbitey. And it's a lot like that in rodeo. Your Kmart Cowboys are pretty, they want to fight each other a lot.
Dude, we call Vaughn Kmart Cowboy.
No, we don't. We have never called me that. That's,
it's starting today.
That's completely made up. Yeah. That's not even true.
Yeah. You don't look, you'll know a Kmart Cowboy. Watch Urban Cowboy, and that's Kmart Cowboy.
I legitimately have no calluses.
Dance, they're a Kmart Cowboy.
I don't even know what hay is.
Yeah, he won't get dirty.
Oh yeah,
I don't like to get dirty. It's not really my thing.
You would not do well on a ranch.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah,
I don't even have to be on one to tell you I wouldn't do well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
I like to see it.
We can make it happen. Take you up Wyoming or South Dakota to our ranches up there, man.
We're gonna talk about South Dakota.
Yeah. We don't even put you on, like, our horses up there. Like, we don't have dude ranch horses. Our horses have number brands on them, which means if they don't buck, we break them. So they're bred to buck, and so yeah. But it'll make us a great video of you.
Dude,
that's
a great idea.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm constantly brought into the stuff that I don't want to do. Like I'm always like, yeah, I'd love to go wakeboarding because I like to wakeboard. Nobody asked me to do that.
Yeah.
They want me to go do something to hurt myself.
I think Magnus was saying he wants to. I think that's what I was seeing.
He ain't scared. He is scared.
Magnus is scared of everything.
Yeah.
Y'all just lucky he's got a shirt on today. Usually he's back there with no shirt on.
Rarely does he have a shirt on. It's weird.
Distracting.
I was trying to read his shirt for a second. I thought it said something poo, and then I realized that's odd. So
it does.
I know. I was like, Dino Poo? I was like, man, that's...
It does look like Dino Poo now. I look at it. It's great.
Well,
34 inches.
We're gonna have to throw those away now. Just shattered our baseball dreams.
So what's your background? So I looked up, obviously we do some research. Seen you from Wyoming as a kid, moved to South Dakota.
Yeah.
Grew up in ranches, so you just mentioned that. So that's what I guess you grew up working on a farm?
I don't know about you.
I thought I was going. You're going.
Yeah. Do I need to restart?
No.
Okay. I don't know about you, but my electricity bill this summer is higher than I thought it could go. Thanks to the heat and the inflation, I'm kind of sweating it.
Dude, I'm hot in your room right now.
Yeah. No, that's me.
Oh.
The one thing I'm not sweating is through this hot summer is through my meat price. Why? Because my meat price is locked in for 2 years with Good Ranchers.
I don't know how they do it.
You might be thinking, a price lock guarantee on meat? They do that?
They do.
Yes, it's amazing. And you need it.
Good Ranchers only meat packing. What? Good Ranchers is the only meat company locking in your price with industry first price lock guarantee. That's insane. Since 2021, they've been helping people combat the inflation of the meat aisle as well as the mystery of it too. It turns out over 85% of grass-fed beef is imported from overseas. You know that?
Uh-uh.
I did because we had a podcast with them all back. They
I
told
know.
us that.
I
Okay.
just trying to play it through.
Okay, so not only is the store-bought meat expensive, but it's often low, foreign quality too.
When you subscribe to Good Ranchers, you get a guaranteed price and a trusted 100% American source for your favorite cuts. You can save on your beef, chicken, and pork by locking in your price today. Every single steakhouse quality cut is individually wrapped and flash frozen to make mealtime easy and save you from dreaded food waste.
Oof. So go to goodranchers.com today and use my code DNDPOD for $30 off and free shipping. Remember, subscribe to any box and lock in the price of America's best meat for 2 whole years. That's goodranchers.com, code DNDPOD for $30 off. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered.
Yes, please.
Yeah, ranch. My grandparents' ranch has been in the family over 100 years. It's called a Centennial Ranch in Wyoming. It's a big deal to get that for a family to own it that long, and so it's been there. And they raise cattle and they also outfit hunts and things like that. They're big hunters. And then my dad went in the ministry. We moved to the reservation, so I grew up a res boy out in Pine Ridge and had a ranch out there. And raised bucking horses and cattle and stuff like that. Raised bulls until I moved away, and bulls tear up a lot of stuff. And so when I wasn't there, my dad got rid of them pretty quick. So.
How do you make a bronc buck? Like, how do you break them to do that?
Bloodlines. They love it.
Really?
Oh yeah, they love it. Yeah. I encourage you to look up. A lot of people know him from The Amazing Race, but he's was a really good bull rider back in my day, and then now he's a great stock contractor. His name's Cord McCoy, and he has the Buck and Bull of the Year this last year riding solo, and his Instagram is just full of videos of him walking with him, scratching his belly, scratching his back. Like, these bulls love to buck. It's in their bloodline. People, the misconception is that you put a flank on them, runs between their nuts, and it makes them. And that has nothing.
It makes
to do
me
with
buck every time.
Yeah,
it's a reflex, So like when you go to the doctor and they hit your knee and it causes that's a muscle reflex. And so what it does is it brings their back end up, and so it just helps them to kick is what it does. And then fighting, it slows them down. They can't run as fast when that's on them. So
You put some boxer briefs on me, I start bucking.
yeah. But so they're bred. They enjoy it. And you find a bloodline that works, and there's a lot of money in it. My brother's actually right in the middle of all that. He runs a website called The Breeders' Connection, and it's he's a pretty big name in the rodeo world when it comes to that.
That's a big business. So supplying to I had a guy, his father-in-law. They did a lot of the steers for a lot of the rodeos. I know that used to be bigger than what it was. I heard some kind of change years ago.
It's actually better now. Well, there's just so many guys involved, and there's so much money in it now. And it used to be you'd raise your own stuff, and then my brother come along with a website, and he links these guys together from Florida with guys in California, and so then now you've got football players buying in, and you've got
like a broker.
Presidents buying in, and and there people are buying into bulls. You got Cord McCoy, who's smart, and he used his background of being on The Amazing Race and got a bunch of grandmas to buy in and buy half interest. He still hauls them all, but they're just we're with the Cowboys from The Amazing Race. We own a bull with them, and so you got all this money coming in, and so that but the bloodlines have just. You find a bloodline that works, and it's
wow.
And then they'll water that market down, and then another bloodline comes along, and the bucking bulls now are just, man, they're athletes. Like it's insane to. There's a bull, Whoopah. They now hold the top 3 highest scores in history on that same bull, and it's every bit of it. I mean, that bull, you could drive a truck underneath him. Like it's just cool to see the bloodlines work, and like I said, these bulls love it. Like they know it. Like when they run in the chute, they game face on.
Really?
Like they see it, they feel it.
Yeah, I can imagine just sitting in the chute and they're going nuts.
Yeah,
like,
we used to have a bull we called Hay Bale. I mean, he wasn't a bucker that much, but we take him to camps and like youth rodeos and stuff. But he'd get so mad, like you could crawl all over him, everything. But when you bucked him, we had to put a hay bale in a pen, and could put no other bulls in there because he'd kill another bull. And he'd run back there and he'd just tear that hay bale to bits. And then he just calm down and they'd be good. When it's game time, he had to do his thing, work his anger out.
That's how I am with a
And
Chipotle burrito.
He'd take these big old 2-ton hay bales and just be throwing. I mean,
They got a pretty good Pro Bowl. I'm from Lake Charles, Westlake, Louisiana.
Okay.
I know they got the guy himself for Hanch. I don't remember his last name. They got a big Pro Bowl rider from my area.
I actually don't pay attention to it.
I can't remember his name, but he's pretty big. Still in the PBR.
I get really depressed because I was 21 when my career ended, and I hadn't even hit my stride. Like, usually 24 is your prime a lot of times, and I was traveling with, at the time, the guy was considered the greatest of all time, and he's been passed up, of course. But my traveling partners I was blessed to be around some of the best in the world and learn from. I just couldn't stay healthy. I mean,
when did you start? I know you ended 21. When did you start?
So I started riding steers when I was 9, and then started riding bulls when I was 11 or 12, junior bulls, and then by the time I was 16, I was riding. Like when I was 14, I got a picture of 14 years old on a bull, and that year he was at the PBR finals in the short go, and I was on him at 14, and so now he throttled me pretty good. I was up in North Dakota for a show a couple weeks ago, and the guy that band Breaking 8 guy, Benny Paulson, he ended up being one of my travel partners. But that's where I first met him. As this kid showed up this bull riding up there and draw this Happy Hopper was his name, and there was nothing happy or hopper about him. And he schooled a little 14-year-old self. But
oh my God.
but you can't professionally until you're 18 is when you can get your permit. And you can college and pro at the same time in rodeo. And there's actually 2 pro organizations. You have the PRCA, which is all the events, and then the PBR, which is just bull riding.
Yeah. So who does the NFR? That's
PRCA.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's PRCA.
Yeah, I didn't know that was difference.
Yeah, they're
different leagues.
Totally different leagues, but yeah, and
Which
then
one
they cross over some.
Which one pays better?
PBR. I mean, but NFR's catching up. Like the NFR now is Florida tried to get it moved there in Kissimmee, and so a lot of money got thrown around, and that convinced LVE, Las Vegas Entertainment, to add more money. And so now the NFR pays really well. But you could, like, when I was riding, you could make the NFR on $60,000, $50,000, but you go to PBR and win that, and, you'd win $25,000 to $50,000 in one event.
Oh shit!
So like bull riding, it was a no-brainer. Like everybody went to the PBR in the late '90s, and then when I was in it to 2001 to 2004, everybody was in it. But now you've got so much money flowing around, and you've got to have at least $100,000 just to have a shot at the NFR.
What do you mean? Why is that?
Well, it's because it's money won in top 15.
Oh, you got to be okay. You had to earn that much.
You had to earn that per
I
race,
guess.
yeah.
So I guess do you get paid per event? I'm assuming.
So you get paid. Like, rodeo's different than any other sport. You don't get paid if you buck off. You pay an entry fee, and then you're paid based on what you place.
So like a Houston livestock show and rodeo.
So Houston livestock shows,
Super Series. They have all those.
So the Super Series is really interesting because you can win. Like, so one of my really good friends, JJ Elsher, I remember one year he won the Super Series, won the semifinals, won the short, or didn't, and they bucked off in short go, and he only walked away with at the time like $10,000-$12,000. So the Super Series don't pay much. It's that final 4 round.
Yep.
So
it pays like $5,000, I think, a Super Series. If you win.
So it's I think it's 5 groups of 10 or 12, and then they take, based on money won, you move on to the semis, and then they have 2 semifinals, and then the top so many move on to the finals. Everybody else that was in the semis does a last chance qualifier, and then and then you go to the finals, which is that Sunday or Saturday, and it's 10 or 12. I can't remember exactly. It's been a few years since I've been there, but and then the top 4 from that move on, and it's a winner take all one head. But if you make the top 4, you're still going to pull a good check. But it's $50,000 if you finish first.
$50,000.
Yeah, $50,000 to win
to ride that whole time.
Yeah.
That's why I don't ride bulls.
Yeah. And it's the best of the best. I mean, and if they buck off, like bull riding, they buck all 4 guys off. They run 4 more bulls in, and someone's got to win it. And they've done it a couple times. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's and so that's where a lot of my I say I don't focus on rodeo much, but the Houston rodeo is the only one I have because guys would come and stay at our house, and so we would go down and I'd go pull ropes and help put on saddles and riggings and stuff like that, and just hang out with my friends. So Houston Rodeo is the only one that I really, and then the NFR in the last 5 or 6 years I've started. My brother does the sale at the NFR, the Buck and Horse and Bull sale, and so I've got more involved there, and just a lot of friends, and then now doing comedy. I've been going and doing comedy during the NFR. Different casinos will have you come to shows because my crowd is
you fit
there.
it. Yeah. Your demographics are right in line.
Yeah. So it looks like it's leaning more and more towards I'm going to go again this year in December. We just don't know where or how many shows right now. I've got a lot of irons in the air, and it's pretty much top bidder. I'll take it. So.
Yeah. So when they do the bull, like when they pair you up, is it sure they pure draw or is they
draw?
They do.
So you're in the middle of everything changing right now. The PBR has 2 seasons now. The PBR has the individual sport, and now they have team sport. So last year they had the first ever draft, and they drafted everybody who was available. And then this year they had the second draft, and they have teams, and so that one's different. So it's a whole new game, and it is so much fun. It's you ride head to head, and pretty much each team draws. I can't remember how many bulls it is. You pick your 5 riders from your team that are going to compete, and then you handpick who gets on what bulls and in what order they ride.
Well, that makes it more fun.
And it makes it, and so it's a strategy game. And then the total
it's like a golf match play.
Yeah, and then the highest score total wins. And then they just did Cheyenne was the first weekend for this one, and they'll do 2 teams will face each other, and then they'll go to Kansas City or wherever, and 2 teams will face each other, and so that all the bull riders are there, and that one paid good. I think Kansas City won the finals, and I had a friend that was a bench player. He didn't even ride at it, and I think he got like a $25,000 bonus. So
I don't think I'd even ride a bench for $25,000.
Yeah,
You're just too close to those bulls.
Yeah.
Those horses.
It's fun. Yeah. That was my problem. Was I didn't know. I like to pride myself in not giving up, and Cowboy Up was my mantra, and now I try to tell young kids Cowboy Up's a load of bull corn.
Yeah, really.
Because Cowboy Up ended my career at 21 years old. I would ride hurt all the time. Like I broke my back. I was 8 weeks later.
Yeah, I saw you had it was at 3 different vertebrae.
So I broke my rookie year. I broke C2 in my neck. Which they call the hangman's bone. Should kill you. Cracked it 3/4 of the way across. I actually cracked it a little bit. Didn't know. Got on another bull. I thought I just had you get a lot of. It's like getting in a car crash. The ground's hard, and so sometimes when you get throttled on a bull, you'll get like pinched nerves and stuff. And I decided I had a pinched nerve, and so I got on the next night, and I went to make a corner, and my whole body just froze, and I hit the ground, and then I went back. I was in college, and my coach said, you can't go to the next college rodeo until you get an x-ray. And I went and got an x-ray, and I'd cracked C2 3/4. I couldn't move my head. I was trying to look and just...
Did it hurt while you were riding, or you fell again?
It just hurt to move. It hurt to drive. That drive home, I had to ride with some people. I couldn't even drive. I had to have someone drive my vehicle because I couldn't move. I'd churn, and it just it's a miracle that didn't kill me. So I come back from that. That was my rookie year, and I was out for, 9, 10, 11 months. I was out from that.
So did you get it fused or?
No, just had to keep it still.
Oh, okay.
And I have a big bone spur. It's funny because I can't, chiropractors won't work on me because they do the x-ray and then they see that bone spur and they're like, yeah, we ain't touching that. So it gives me why I have a lot of passing out issues and the brain injury mixed with the neck injury together is why I have a lot of issues and stuff. And so
when did the brain injury happen?
The brain injury happened over time. Okay. Just a lot of concussions.
Like CTE?
Yeah. And they can't test CTE until you're dead. Right. They take a slice of your brain. But there's every sign that you have it. Like my neurologist, when I was going to one, was 100% you've got late stages of CTE. There's no question about it. And so and my problem is that I'd have concussions, and my problems really started happening as a bull riding, and it was a 2-head and short go one night. And so I rode in the first round, and the way it works is they do sections at bull riding. So section 1, and then there'll be a break for the act and commercial break. It gives a commercial break for television. Section 2, section 3, section 4, and then the next round, if you were in section 1, you're now in section 4. They flip them. So I was in section 1. And I ended up winning the first round, but on getting off, I just landed wrong and knocked myself out. I don't even remember getting knocked out. I just had the signs of a concussion. So you can get knocked out, not have a concussion. You can get concussion, not get knocked out.
Oh, wow.
But I was, light hurt my eyes, and you're used to it to that point, and there was no concussion protocol. This was 2002.
This was Cowboy Up.
Yeah, 2002, 2003.
So
Yeah.
on the concussions, are they mostly from hitting the ground?
So hitting the ground, hitting heads. So this one here was hitting the ground.
Okay.
And then I got on at the second round in section 4, and your reflexes were slow. Well, I had a concussion. So my reflexes were slow. Got behind, got strung out, bull kicked, and I went and hit heads with them. And knocked me out cold.
God.
And I'm back behind the chutes. I'm puking my guts out. I'm in bad shape. And the doctor, the sports medicine doctor that's there, that's at all the big events, he was like, yeah, you can get on. Like, because they didn't, if you're a wuss, maybe not. But
Rub some dirt on it.
So I was like, okay, I made it back to the short go because I was enough points on the first round. Well, I was one of the last guys to go in the fourth round, and I was like 14th. They took 15 back short go. I was like 14th hole, which means I was second guy to go. So I didn't even have. I'm still puking. I don't even know where my rope is. Nothing. Everybody's like, well, you gotta go get. So I go get on. It just happens to be the dad of the bull that just knocked me out. It was just weird deal.
Full circle.
And all my friends that were there that night were like, we should have stopped you. We should have stepped in, because I'm over there singing Rocket Man. I mean, at the top of my lungs. I'm so out of it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Not even taking my own rap. Someone's taking it for me. I mean, at that level, you shouldn't be doing that.
Oh,
and I
wow.
slide up and I nod my head, and I remember getting strung out, and all I can think is, here we go again. And I come down, hit his head. Next morning, my next memory is waking up in the camper, and I'm like, where am I? And so I'm looking around. I find my traveling partner, and I realize we're at the next rodeo. It's like a 13-hour drive. We're at the next place, and so
Get another crack at it.
He's inside getting breakfast. So I go find him. I'm like, man, I'm so sorry you had to drive that whole drive. I must have been sleeping. He said, what are you talking about? You drove the whole way. I still to this day don't remember any of it. Yeah, and
that's
so
not
I went.
good.
Yeah, and I went back to college from that, and I was a straight A student. I was
Drove the whole way.
Yeah, drove the whole way. Get back to college, and never got higher than a C after that night. And that was the start of everything turning south on me. And we didn't find the brain injury till I had my career-ending injury in 2004. We didn't find my brain injury till like 2008, 2009.
Wow.
When I bought a race car. I couldn't ride bulls anymore, so I bought a race car. Sucked at that, but it was fun. I rode around to the back. I did lead a couple times while I was getting lapped, but it looked like I was leading and stuff. And so
perception's reality, baby.
Exactly. I
Like what kind of race car?
had hobby stock. It was a 74 Cutlass with it was a 74 Chevelle with a Oldsmobile front end. I took a front end on it, so it had a little more front end to it. And it was fun. I loved every
How fast you go?
minute of it. Not that fast.
No.
Fast enough to think I was going fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's dirt tracks. You're not. It was I think it was an 8th mile track.
Those
quarter mile track.
can't headbutt you either.
Yeah. But so I was actually doing well in this race. I was running second. Was on a restart, and guy behind me. Didn't know what I was doing as much, and he got up under me, and my car lost the back end, and I come down, and all I remember is just looking and seeing one car after another coming through and just hitting me. Totaled my car, and then I woke up, like knocked me out cold. And I woke up, and it was like the next day, my nose just starts gushing blood, like not bleeding, like spraying blood, like a sprinkler. And that happens usually. If that happens right now, we need to stop the podcast, because usually bad stuff happens after that.
Oh, that's content.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. So
Just kidding.
yeah, and so and I started like getting confused, and I just would get lost doing simple things, and just having a hard. And so I went to the doctor and was like, I was passing out, and they're trying to find cancer, they're trying to find anything, and then I remember Junior Seau killed himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm watching ESPN, and they're talking about everything he went through, and I'm like, that's my everyday. So I went back to the doctor. I said, could it be concussions? He's like, man, I don't know. So they went through over a year of tests. Like, I was doing 4 to 5 tests a week for over a year.
Oh, God.
And I mean, it was like, where are you at? Because I've become a guinea pig for him, because they found the damage to my front right lobe of my brain. And it should have been inoperable, but the rest of the brain kind of picked it up, and so I become like a test dummy for him, and that's when we found it. So it's boring stuff, but it's
the frontal right lobe of that's not emotion, is it? That I think that's frontal.
I don't know. My wife gets married to a lot of person because because I get knocked out easy now. I turn my head too fast, I get knocked out. We have a deaf dog, and he'd jump up and hit me in the head and knock me out. And every time I wake up, I got a different personality. So as my wife has a lot. Like I used to never. The only time I would like I was so easygoing, never get mad, and now if someone cuts me off in traffic, I'm pulling them out. I want to pull them out of the car and whoop the snot out of them, And like someone make fun of my brother because my brother broke his neck riding saddle broncs, and when he was 18, and he was one of the best. Like he would have won some world titles. Where we grew up was in South Dakota in the 90s. The saddle bronc riding,
like
the
Mecca.
Group, it was like think of a school that pools from 45-mile radius. Like just think of a 45-mile radius of kids, and it having 15 to 18, not just Major League Baseball players, but all stars for the next 10 years, all out of that little area. And that's what it was on the bronc riding at that time.
Wow.
What city did you live in South Dakota?
Is there a city in South Dakota?
Yeah, there's
Rapid City. So I was an hour and a half from Rapid City.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I go pheasant hunting in South Dakota.
That's the East River side.
Yeah.
So you have East River, West River. You're on the ugly side.
Dallas.
And the grumpy people.
We go to Dallas in winter.
Winter South. I've got a lot of memories in winter South Dakota. I just did a show this winter up by winter. Yeah. So
Ironic.
Yeah. I got some great memories. I remember. Winter. Yeah, I don't know exactly where.
How long did you live there? I know you moved there like
we
9
moved
years
there
old.
when I was 9, and then lived there until I had my careening injury. And I felt like I was letting everybody down because I was 21 and I was the only guy on the hitting the PBRs at the time. Benny Paulson up North Dakota was too, so him and I were traveling a lot together, and I just felt like I let everybody down. And you can't go anywhere in South Dakota and not see rodeo, And I could go in any gas station and people would know who I was, and so I was so embarrassed. And so I'd met this girl in New Mexico, and I was actually going to propose to her to the night of my careening injury, and they ended up life flatting me out of there, and so I couldn't. And so I moved down to New Mexico. So I'd been when I was 22, because my careening. I say I was 21. It was like 2 weeks before my 22nd birthday. So.
Wow.
Which is, by the way, here's an interesting fact. I'm 364 days older, or 366 days older than you.
Yeah, so you're June
29th. I turned 41.
Oh,
And then I saw you
good.
posted
Yeah, I'm 30.
The 30th. I saw you post. I was like, oh, hey, there you
Yeah.
go. I'm just almost a year older than him. So,
Yeah. Vaughn's still a baby.
Yeah.
He's 39.
Just turned 39.
Yeah. I've seen the videos. I get it when, like, you guys are ridiculously look-alike.
You think so?
Like, way more in person than in video.
Most people say in person it's more.
If you didn't have facial hair, I don't think I could tell you
that last time
I can't grow it. So
the height, though, he's way, way taller.
Yeah, way bigger too.
Now, I saw the video you posted
So
of you and
first
your
of
brother-in-law
all,
working out.
First
Holy
of all,
cow.
he's the exact same height.
Is he?
And you know
I
what?
don't think so.
He has this thing where he thinks he's taller than me. And we're
Every
the
picture we
exact-
take, I'm taller than you.
Every picture we take, and a lot of times he
He's
gets
on his
little
tiptoes. Yeah.
or I take a picture on this rug right here, and you get about a quarter inch on me.
We're on the same freaking
Dude,
rug.
we're the same height, and I want to settle this. We're gonna settle this after this because it's really starting to hurt my heart.
All right, whatever you say, shorty.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, dude, he gets so pissed.
No, I
man.
was like, I didn't mean to take you out.
Struck a chord with him. Look at him.
I just could not.
No.
I know you guys do the Dale and not Dale.
It's
and
tough
and
being
I
short
can
man in
totally
tall man's
see it.
world. I get it, man.
I had a friend in college that we looked exactly alike, and we swapped college jerseys at the college finals one year. And we're walking, like I went to his college team meeting, he went to mine, nobody knew. So I get it,
Yeah.
So,
That's funny.
You want to swap college jerseys?
I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So much for your
I was bronc riding.
dude. You can't even spell bronc.
Dude, I can ride one though.
Hey, come up South Dakota. We'll test that out. We've got
I want
quite
Vaughn,
a few of
I
them
want-
up there.
Me and Vaughn are gonna just stand in there like the like Jackass episode and we'll see who gets hit first.
So we're not going to do that
why?
because I'm not going to do that.
That would be
You come up
hilarious.
and watch him get on one.
Yes,
I'll ride
that's
a bull.
Yeah. No, we'll put you on. I got a guy.
I want a junior bull.
I got a guy. No, I got a guy up in Huntsville. He's a rodeo coach up there. Really good friend. They have an arena on Sundays. They buck out, and he'll have bull. He used to have this bull's gone, but I'm sure he has another one. He looked rodeo, like, and you'd get a picture, and he'd just run out there, but he would throw his head up, so he'd make you look like he was bucking. Get a good picture, fall off, because the first time you fall off, because what people don't realize, the adrenaline rush you get, your body can't handle it, and so you black out. First time you get on a bull, you black out.
What?
Because the adrenaline rush is so high. Yeah. So we can get. I guarantee Bubba would let us bring you up there, bring the
Texas?
podcast, Huntsville, Texas. Let you guys come up with the podcast. I almost guarantee. I just have to make. I did a show for their church up there.
Yeah.
Great people.
Really?
Absolutely great people. But they buck out every Sunday. They do church service and then they buck out afterwards. And a lot of pro guys have come out of that little buck out that he does. A lot of like high end pro guys.
It's a great time to start.
His son right now is tearing it. His son's in the running for rookie of the year, actually. So.
I want somebody to run beside the bull with those pads so I can land on that, though.
I did that. We had when I worked at Lone Star Cowboy Church, we had the children's pastor there was a former cage fighter, big old dude, and I got to talk to him and get on a bull. And when I do bull riding schools, I'd always run alongside and coach. And the kid starts falling off, I'd try to push him back on, because these bulls are just, that's what you want to learn on, is just something slow. And he starts sliding off, and at this time, he's over 300 pounds. And I reached out for him, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're on your own, man. He sounded like a Mack truck letting the brakes out when he hit that ground. Just
big tree fall hard.
Oh, man, yeah. We still laugh about that. So, yeah.
So you're a pastor's son.
Yeah, pastor's son.
And then you became a worship leader, right?
I started when I was 15. My dad told me, he said, if there ain't church, have church. Because I was rodeoing full time at that time, so I wasn't home on Sundays. And so I took that as do church. And so I went to a rodeo in Wall, South Dakota, and they didn't have church service. So I went up to the announcer stand and I said, we're having church tomorrow, Sunday morning. And they said, who's preaching? I said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And that started so I started preaching when I was 15 years old. And so, and then riding bulls, we started a ministry called Bull Riders for Christ that we had.
Did you have vest?
We had stickers and stuff like that. So yeah, you have that. And then my chaps still had like my. I should have brought those for you to try on or something. That'd been fun. Yeah, but my when I got on the PBR, I got some new chaps, and we put the Bull Riders for Christ logo on the bottom of those, cool. And then, so when I had my careening injury, I actually left everything and went to New Mexico and was managing Hastings, because that's what I went to college for, was corporate business management. So I was managing a Hastings over there, and
Hastings, like the video.
Yeah, and at the time it was
that was huge back in the day.
Yeah, it was huge back in the day. It was video games, videos, music, books.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of like a Sam Goody.
Okay. Yeah, it was, and you'd go in and have all the different.
We didn't have that in Louisiana. We had what was it called? Oh yeah, we all had Sam Goody, but we had something other. We had another local one that was like
so
Camelot.
This was a corporate deal. Yeah,
I don't know if they had Camelot. I think they may have back when I was real little, but they had another, like a local. It's called Sound Shop. That was like a Lake Charles, like just one store. But we had a Sam Goody. Like, that was like the big deal.
Yeah.
FYE.
For your entertainment. Yeah, I remember that one.
FYE. No.
Yeah.
That was another one.
So I thought I was going to stay with them, and even got a corporate position offer for something there, and then got a phone call from one of my rodeo buddies, a guy named Rope Myers. He won the steer wrestling world title back in the 2000s. He's most known now for History Channel did that jousting show, and he went on there and dominated, and so he jousted for years. Just world's most interesting man. But they had offered, there was a church kind of starting to grow in Montgomery under Randy Weaver called Lone Star Cowboy Church, and they were looking for a worship pastor, youth pastor, and they offered it to his wife. She couldn't do it, so he called me, and so we took over that, and I mean it, like that was an incredible journey in itself. We started with 15 teenagers and 8 volunteers, and in 2 weeks grew to 8 teenagers and 0 volunteers, and because we ran everybody off, and then and then it grew to, we were averaging hundreds of kids a week. And within 3 or 4 years, we was averaging hundreds of kids a week. We were satelliting all over the U.S. Before satelliting was a deal. Like there was no.
So what's the difference with the Cowboy Church? You think?
Well, this was just a cowboy pastored it, and it was, they do kind of Western type music and stuff like that. But the Cowboy churches really blew up after this church blew up. Like you started seeing a lot of cowboy churches go out, and now they're everywhere. But Cowboy Church has been around since the 70s. I mean, there's been a guy Smith. My brain's giving me some fits. I should know. I can see his face, Guy and Ann. But they kind of started that whole movement of cowboy churches and stuff.
It wasn't John Smith. I can tell you, it wasn't him.
No, it was not him. Yeah.
We did it one time. We went to a dude ranch, the whole family in Bandera.
Okay.
And we had a cowboy church thing.
Yeah.
They had things set up out there, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Dude
Yeah,
ranch was fun.
I enjoyed it. I've been in ministry my whole life, and it made comedy an easy transition for me because I've always, with teenagers, you got to keep their attention.
Yeah.
And so I'd always do humor with it and stories. I'm a good storyteller. And so I would always find humor. And so when I decided to do comedy, it was very easy transition because it was just, now I'm writing comedy on purpose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Was that, I know, so I read about your story, you said God gave you this, I guess, just told you about doing comedy. So
Yeah.
How was that going to something it really is a more secular deal?
Yeah, well, so I'm friends with a lot of Christian comedians that I've known through traveling and speaking and stuff. We were driving to her family for Christmas, and we're going on that long stretch on I-10 going to New Mexico that just horrible. And I just felt like I was, I knew God was leading me to something new, and we was in the middle of a fast, and so I just felt like God was saying comedy, and I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then my wife sitting next to me, she goes, just out of the blue, have you thought of doing comedy? And then I'm kind of mad because I'm like, well, why are you talking to her? And
Why you gotta bring her into this?
Then my phone rings, and one of my best friends from rodeo calls me, and he said, man, I was just praying, and this is the weirdest sounding thing, but I feel like I need to ask you ever thought about doing comedy? And I mean, this is all happening in a 5-minute
Dude, that's
window.
wild.
So I looked at my wife and said, I guess I'm doing comedy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And so we had 12 hours of driving, and I thought I wrote some pretty good stuff. And then I went to an open mic in Houston and tried it, and
Bombed?
Oh, man. It was bad. And I'm like, I'm never doing comedy again. And then my mentor, Bob Smiley, calls me, said, how'd that go? I said, it was horrible. He said, yeah. He said, let me help you. And so he wanted to start taking me. Well, then right after my bombing, COVID hit and shut the whole country down.
Yeah.
And shut the first show I was going to do with Bob, the night of that show was the night that they shut the country down. And I was like, God, if I was that bad, there's other ways.
Dude, he's
stopping me from doing this.
Maybe I should rethink this.
So I had, and rodeo, I was all about film study. Like I would study film. You learn so much off of film. So I just started watching comedians and taking notes. And I'm like, okay, this is the angle they took. And most people, they read a book, they read the comedy Bible, but everybody does that. And so I don't want to be like everybody.
Right.
And so I'm like, I want to learn it, like playing instruments. I've taught myself every instrument I play. So I'm like, I'm going to teach myself comedy. Well, you can't do that. Like it is a different animal. And so
you just need reps, right? I mean,
yeah, you need reps. But then in May of 21 or 22, May of one of those, I opened for Jeff Garcia. And Jeff, he's best known for being the voice of Sheen on Jimmy Neutron, and then the little Pip the mouse on Back of the Barnyard. So I opened for him, and he said, man, you've got so much potential. I love your passion. He said, I want you to come back. You're going to open for me the rest of the time I'm in Houston. He said, but you and your wife, I want you to bring a notebook. We're going to meet for lunch, and I'm going to teach you how to write correctly, because he said, you're not writing correctly. He said, all the premises there, you're not writing correctly. And so I'm like, man, and he's mentored some of the biggest, like you hear Gabriel Iglesias talk about sleeping on his mentor's couch. That's Jeff Garcia. That he's,
Wow.
And so I asked him when he was there, I said, how many, I'm used to rodeo where you're pouring into hundreds of guys I figured comedy would be the same. And he said, no, you're only the 7th guy that I've decided to help teach this. So he said, I'm going to teach you the same writing technique that George Lopez taught me. And so if you notice, there's a style, and my style of comedy is very similar to like George Lopez, very similar to Gabriel Iglesias, Jim Gaffigan, Brian Regan. It's all that same. It's the same writing technique. And man, he said, I want you to take all of your material, throw it out, and then I want you to rewrite it with this technique. And it was like a light bulb went off, and just, I mean, within a month, my career just blew up.
What's the biggest thing about trade secrets? Like,
it's a huge trade secret.
What's the difference in is your delivery different, or it's just a different cadence?
So this is what blew my mind is what he told me. He said comedy is comedy is 10% material, 15% delivery, 75% marketing. There's amazing comedians nobody knows about, and there's comedians that suck, but everybody knows about them because they market well.
Like Matt Rife is like the poster child for.
Yeah, I'll tell you,
he's funny though, but
he's
blown. I mean, somebody chose him to be the one that's going to be.
It's such a fight in the comedy world right now because it is making it hard. You pull a cell phone out now because film is comedy's the same as riding bulls. You're going to film your sets, and you're gonna watch it back every set. What I do right, what I do wrong, what can I improve on? Those are 3 questions you should ask yourself all the time. And now you pull a cell phone out, people see it, they're like, "Ooh, Matt Rife, I'm gonna get on it TikTok," and then the crowd just won't shut up. Like that
would annoy me, yeah.
So a lot of comedians are mad at him. I'm winning that deal. Do your thing. I'm not the style of other music. I love certain styles of music. I can't even stand to listen to rock or like heavy metal or even rap music. But I know other people do. Comedy's the same way. There's comedians I love, other people can't stand it.
Yeah.
So if it works for you, do it. Like absolutely. So, but he's a great crowd worker. Like he's very good on your feet, and crowd work's a lot of you're setting the crowd up for a joke you've already written.
Jesse does that well.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he was so good.
Yeah. Especially when he gets to whenever there's a girl with a black guy there. It gets a little out of hand, we were at one show and he was railing on. That's a bad choice of words. He was.
That's what he on stage.
Yeah, and there was a curtain there, and she hid behind the curtain. She was so embarrassed because he would not let up. Man. Oh, it was so great. He's very good at that. Yeah,
I didn't know like when he first came out. I already had preconceived notions. Like I don't know if I'm like this guy.
Yeah,
I really did. I just judging the book, but I did. You know.
Yeah.
And but then like his first thing, I was like, "Oh, dude, this guy's gonna be good."
Yeah,
he was good.
He's very fast paced.
He won us. Yeah,
you can't breathe.
He's like
go.
He's got a lot of Kevin Hart style in him.
Yeah.
But he did it well. But he didn't. It wasn't like he was copying. I mean, it was him.
Yeah.
But it was he did.
We were in.
How many shows was that? Did you?
That was what it 2,000 or something?
No, he's done 1,000 shows.
It was 1,000 shows.
Yeah, this year he had 1,000.
That was his 1,000 show we went to.
Yeah. Yep, I know exactly what show. Yeah, Sean opened for him.
Yep, that's where we went. Yeah.
And Ben was there.
Yeah.
Ben, oh man, he's a trip.
Hey.
So I like doing shows with Ben because
it's a contrast.
Well, no, because I know if the crowd's laughing at his stuff, I crack out the darker jokes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because if they're not laughing at his, because you're either gonna love him or you're gonna be like, this dude's messed up.
He's gonna make you cringe.
I love dark humor.
Yeah. Oh, he's dark. His deal is very dark humor. That's his tag.
He got to the point where I was like,
yeah. He pushes it.
I was having to like look around before I laugh.
People had warned me that Houston comedy is raunchy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I've heard raunchy. Like I've been around, like in the rodeo world, you've got your comedians around there that are known to be pretty, and they're clean.
Yeah.
They're Houston comedy. Holy, my wife and I went to a show, and I was like, I think I need to wash my ears out after this. Like,
with the Bolly's plants, dude, we're all just jacked up down here.
They put me on the midnight show at the secret group one time, and I was like, okay, I'll do the midnight show. And I walked in the bathroom, saw it was the Triple X show. I had to go back to the promoter. I was like, do you know me? Like, do you know anything about, I don't know if this is my show I should be on as the Triple X show, because I try to stay pretty clean, but I'm not fully clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm not squeaky clean. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I do Disney type jokes. I do, but I do a lot of churches. I do, but I got to be a part of a competition, and I'm not going to drop his name, but there's a guy that does it. He contacted me and was like, he's like, you're too squeaky clean. And so he helped me write a joke into one of my deals. And so I throw that joke in, and it just reminds people that you're not fully, it's not totally dirty, but it's like,
well, at least they know you're not just some square that's trying to be.
I'm talking about the birth of your children.
Okay.
And, when the baby's head's coming out, don't look, because it takes years to get that image unburned for your memory. And so he added the line, and it's been killing his first time I'd seen that head poking through. I was like, my wife's never going to think I'm big enough again.
Yeah.
And so it's not dirty, but it's just enough to be like, okay, I can. And so I have a few of those, but I try to stay. I have a lot of kids come to my shows.
Yeah.
And so I try to stay, so I write it. I'm very strategic in my writing. I try to write it to where it'll go over the kid's head and the parent gets the joke.
Yeah.
It's like the new animated cartoons now. Like they have a lot of stuff that the parents catch and the kids.
And my jokes,
like,
I'm very. If you listen to it the first time, you're like, oh, he's going. It's just very basic jokes. My jokes are very layered. So like when I'm telling a story, I want you to hear me 5 times and get a different joke every time. And then my favorite is like I'll have jokes where you'll hear it and you'll laugh because you don't want to have them think too much because then they're not going to laugh. They're too busy thinking, and then they're too busy thinking the next time you do the next line, so they forget it. So I try to do jokes. The way I write them is you're laughing in the moment, but then when you go back, you're like, wait, did he really say that? You know, and then it's like, and then the next time you're listening for it, and then you catch something else, and then there's just layers to the jokes. You know, like my steel ball story. Like I throw so many quick
that was a good
one-liners in there that you'll get a different one every time.
I sent that one to them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's
everybody's favorite.
I absolutely love one-liners. Like
I did a show with Andy Huggins last night. Dude, that guy, he's a legend. He's been doing comedy 40 years.
Yeah.
But I'm not one-liners. You have to do it right because a lot of times it's shotgun and you're just throwing a lot of shell.
Yeah,
he did it
Mitch
right.
Hedberg was the best.
Mitch Hedberg is
he's the king of
greatest of all time.
But Andy Huggins, he's a legend in
I'll
Houston.
look him up. Okay.
Oh, he was on America's Got Talent, but he's
that guy. I've seen. Because Sean did something here before.
Yeah. Oh man, I was laughing so hard last night. I'm texting my wife jokes like as he's telling. I'm like he nailed it. Like it was a lot.
And there's
of fun.
a level of respect that a guy that old you like. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And he had headline the night I did my first open mic. He headlined the show, and then I was in the open mic afterwards. I was the 40th comedian, 1:00 in the morning, and there was like 10 people in the crowd, you know. And I don't do good with small. The smaller the crowd, the larger the crowd, the more comfortable I am.
Yeah.
And because I just
it's probably awkward with only a few people. It's got to be.
If
you got more of a sample size, you've got more of a laugh size.
Exactly. If you got 10 people in the crowd, 5 think it's funny. They hear themselves laugh, they stop laughing.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to hear themselves. If you're in front of 1,000 people, half the people laugh.
It sounds like everyone's laughing.
Yeah, exactly. And then, someone's going, well, what joke did I miss? And, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Comedy is very in your face. I do a lot of shows. Something I've started doing is country singers doing transition between their bands and stuff like that, or just doing shows with country singers. And it works, man. You wouldn't think it does, but it works. Doing a comedy and a concert together works really well. The only problem is the disconnect. Concerts are farther away. And so, like, the show I did in North Dakota I was transitioning between 2 bands. I left the stage and walked down and got, like, where the way the seating was, I could do it. And got, because it's such an intimate, you want that close. It's a totally different animal. I've been in entertainment my whole life, from singing to bull riding to whatever. It's the preaching, speaking. It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Well, listen, a lot of the comedians, they talk about the same way. Like, there's a different show you're going to do at a club versus an arena versus a theater.
Yeah, you have to know. It is reading your audience.
They talked about the timing. Like Joe Rogan talked about the timing's different. In the arena versus.
You got to wait for that laughter.
Yeah, you got to wait for it to come back to you. So
exactly. That's exactly. It goes and it'll come back.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it's and the the large crowds, the speakers got a little delay on them, and so it's almost like a wave of going across there, of laughter, which is pretty cool. But
I just had an idea.
So
virtual stand up.
No, they do it. Yeah,
COVID. The comedians said that.
But there's comedians that can do it. They do. Bob Smiley. There's a bunch of comedians. Bob's one of them. I've seen him do it. They go on the Meta, pays them to go. There's comedy clubs.
Yeah,
and they go into these comedy clubs on Meta, and they're with virtual reality doing. And it's like that. It's for him. It's an open mic. So he goes on there, and tries new material, and I'm like, no, that ain't me. I have to hear.
That would be weird.
The laughter. I can't.
Well, I can have Magnus pump in laughter.
No, that's. I had a guy. He's like, hey, I want to film a special for you, and I was like, well, do you have the crowd mic'd? He's like, no. I said, then no, I ain't gonna do it because you have to. It's like, well, we can pump in. I said, the only thing worse than no laughter is pumped laughter.
Yeah,
like that's nothing will make you lose your respect of other comedians than pumped laughter. So, yeah, but no, that's you could. There's some guys that do it. Oh, it's.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be, I don't know. Talk about a disconnect. That's a disconnect.
You feed so much off the crowd in comedy. Do
you ever like, okay, like you talk about the comedy, the crowds. Do you ever like pivot jokes based on what you feel?
So one thing I had to learn early, you have an out. All your jokes have to have an out.
Okay.
So if you're doing a joke and you're like, okay, this is not going as well, it's a 5-minute bit. You don't want to do 5 minutes of this is not going well. So you have an out. And so some people do it different. Like I've got a friend that he's very like his whole bit is he's very scatterbrained and he jumps around. So he'll jump like he'll get distracted. And you think he's doing it on purpose. He'll get distracted, go to do something else, and won't come back to the joke. Me, I write out. So all my jokes I have throughout every bit, I can end on this. Like you have your big hitter, at the end. But I have hits that I'm like, okay, they're not getting as good. I'm just going to go ahead and make it feel like that's the end of the joke and move on to the next one. So you have to have an exit ramp on all of your jokes because the work I did a competition at the Riot and I had not had a bombed crowd at all, and it was the funniest person in Houston, and I drew a night that they wanted dirty comedians. The dirty comedians were killing it, and I was the last comedian, and I'm like, oh, if they're laughing at these guys, I'm going to kill this. So I started in, and I made a mistake. I'd never done a competition. You don't start on a story. I started with the steel ball story. Crickets. And I'm like, if they're not laughing at that, and I had no out. And I'm watching that 10-minute clock, and it was moving backwards. It was like I was out of body experience watching myself just sweating and there's nothing you can do. And you have to, and I was like, I have to do my whole 10 minutes. And the worst bomb I've ever had in my life. Well, no, the worst bomb I had in my life was I did a school show at a small school, and they brought all the high schoolers in.
Yeah.
And I'm going into doing some bit I have on skinny jeans. I figured they'd, and nothing. And these people start crying. These girls in the front start crying, and I'm like, it was hard. Well, what they forgot to tell me was a pillar of the community had died, and they had all just came from his funeral. And they bust them from the funeral to this.
And they all wore skinny jeans?
And they died.
No.
And the person died in skinny jeans?
No, but no, it just was that they were still emotional from this guy that was like a grandpa to all these kids.
That's not your fault. That's just bad scheduling.
So that doesn't count as a bomb. But I'm tell you what, I wanted to crawl in a hole.
Did you find this out after you had done the bit?
After 30 minutes, and they all walked away. Then the principal came and said, "I'm sorry, nobody was able to catch you beforehand. We apologize. Like, this is what had happened." And I was like, okay.
See, I would have been picking on the people crying. Like, what are y'all crying about?
Well, their basketball team had just lost in the playoffs the night before, so I'm like, they're taking it kind of hard. It's like, it's just basketball.
I'd have said in the front row, you quit acting like your best friend died.
Oh, no. That's not me.
That's me.
I want to be like Nate Bargatze. I want to be known as the nicest guy in comedy. Like, I want
that Hello World special is
his delivery.
Superb.
His delivery is probably the best I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I called him after I watched it. I've watched it like 5 times with people. I said, dude, you got to watch this thing. I said
it's so good.
There's nobody I want to be tied with more than Nate Bargatze.
Nate,
if you're watching this,
Nate, come on, man.
We'll DM.
He is somebody I want, like him. Just his whole.
I like John Chris a lot too.
So I've got friends who are real good friends with John Chris. I don't know him, but a lot of my friends are real good friends with him and stuff. And I'm in that circle.
Okay.
But Nate's starting this thing, Nate Land, and he's wanting it to be a clean version of what Adam Sandler's done. Okay. And I'm like, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be like Dusty Slay, Greg Warren, Aaron Weber. Like, those guys. Those are the guys that I get excited about. Okay. Like, I could totally see hanging out with them, being around them, and that kind of. And so there's nobody I want to be with more than that group.
Is Sinbad still doing comedy? Remember he did clean comedy.
Yeah, his daughter's actually a really good worship leader in Phoenix. Yeah, she's really good worship leader at Tommy Barnett's church over there.
And I like Nate Bargatze.
Yeah,
that's one of the few. Like, I like people's specials, but his special, I laughed out loud by myself.
Have you heard his dead horse story yet? Oh, you got to look up the dead horse story. Okay, that's one of his first blow up stories.
Really?
Yeah, driving and seeing a dead horse, and just shows you how his mind thinks. He's going up to go hiking, and he can't get his mind, so he's thinking through. And he's another guy that's just layered.
Yeah, he does.
Just layers of well, what do you do when your horse is like?
Yeah.
Your friends have to come pick him up. Like I don't want to ruin it for you. You got to look it up. Like it is one of the best. And then the climax of the whole story, the callback on it is just
so good. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
He's a stud, man.
My favorite part in his last stand up, and this probably wasn't even the funniest part, when he was describing that his parents were living in the house backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, that makes total sense.
My favorite was when he's talking about his sister and then he just casually slips in his brother. I'm like, that is brilliant.
He goes,
brilliant
he's like,
writing. That there is just brilliant writing. That is top notch. Like that's thinking on another level.
He said, "Oh wait, yeah, we got a middle brother."
Yeah, how can I make such a simple statement so funny? And he did it. I mean, he's
good. I like him.
Jim Gaffigan's another guy that and Brian Regan. Oh my goodness. Like if you haven't listened to Brian, like you can.
I'm sure I've seen that guy. I know Jim Gaffigan well.
Yeah, Brian Regan. Look up his first album to his latest, but Brian Regan, he's different. He is his own style of comedy, and it will have you, especially like your kids play baseball.
Yeah,
look up a snow cone playing in Little League bit. He's an animal. He's another level.
I seen a good Christian comedy years ago at a church.
Probably Tim Hawkins.
Blonde hair guy, older guy? Yeah.
No, not older guy, younger. No, older guy would probably be Jeff Allen. He's real good. There's a lot of really good Christian comedians. Tim Hawkins, to me, is one of the 5 funniest comedians.
He was like probably in his 50s or 60s when I saw him.
No, that wouldn't
maybe
be Tim.
50s.
Tim's our age.
And he opened up. We went and seen Tim Tebow when he came to Houston to one of these churches. So we went to see his event. Well, they had, before Tebow came out and did all his thing, they had that comedian. And man, this guy was great.
Tim Tebow's a Christian comedian.
Yeah. But
like
his football,
he's a joke.
I'm a Denver Broncos fan, so
Tebow time was my favorite, dude.
People always say with the Cowboys are God's team, and my view of it is God's going to cheer for the team closest to him. Yeah. What team's a mile high?
There you go.
But they also drafted his second son, Tim Tebow, so that should tell you he's a fan of the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
but then he sucked for him.
I love Tebow, dude.
There's only one.
I love the guy. Love everything about the guy. I'm
a big LSU fan, but the Florida Gator years when he was there was my favorite football years memories.
Yeah, I love Tim Tebow as a human being.
The Green Bay Packers are America's team.
Yeah,
legitimately.
We'll see this year. It'll be tough.
Oh, I'm not a Packers fan by any means.
Because they're owned by the people.
They're owned by the people.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a chance to go there, and it was. People in Wisconsin are
My brother lived
phenomenal.
over by the stadium for a while, and he said it's insane.
It's
like
great.
Sunday morning, it's insane.
And it's the cleanest city you would ever go to.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was such an experience.
Yeah, that's one of the stadiums I want to go to is Lambeau.
And Aaron Rodgers and I are the same age, so I think I got a shot.
Yeah.
Go Cheese.
Go Cheese. Who's your favorite comic?
You can pick yourself.
Nate Gaffa Regan. Nate Bargatze, Jim Gaffigan, and Brian Regan. Okay. Yeah, those three-headed. It's a three-headed monster for me.
Nate's been doing it for a long time too.
20 years. Wow. This is his 20th year. Yeah.
I watched some old videos. You'll pop up. He's like with your chunkier.
Yeah, I like Larry the Cable Guy. I like him. I like Jeff Foxworthy. I like those guys. But people always try to compare me. Bill Engvall, when I was rodeoing, Bill Engvall's Dorkfish tape. Because we had cassette tapes, and that's what we listened to. I wore the fire out of his Dorkfish tape when we was rodeoing. We listened to it all the time. And people compare me a lot to him because I'm cowboy and got the goatee. He tells his I'm a cowboy story that was actually at some of my best friends' house that actually happened, and so it's neat hearing their side of the story. All of this is those guys, but I don't know. It's different. I really enjoy Gaffigan, Regan, and Bargatze. It's just. It's just my style. I do like those other guys. I like a lot of comedians. But those guys, I want to take a little bit of all of them and put it in.
Yeah.
So what is it like for you guys? I guess green room. Do they act any different with you, or
it depends on. Like I said,
could be.
It depends on. It's a respect thing. Mm-hmm. And so the ones I've been around have all been phenomenal. They treat you with a lot. Where you get the ugly is the local guys. Okay. Get a lot of local guys that have been open micing it for 10 years and they're mad because you're doing better. And so you'll get a lot of backbiting, and some are probably watching this right now and I'm just fueling their hate even more. But they can do what they want with that. But that's where you get a lot of it. the higher level, it blew me away how much respect that, like, even guys I've never done shows with, they just come across my stuff on Instagram or different stuff, and they're watching, and they just will call me or they'll message me and be like, hey, I'm just, keep doing what you're doing. Just want you to know, you're on our radar. And I mean, that means more than anything to hear that.
That's for your peers. That's a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so you get a lot of that respect. And I think I'm a firm believer in Galatians 6:9 or not Galatians 6, yeah, giving you will receive, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That it's not just, like, people want to say it's money, but it's, I believe it's everything. If you're given being nice to people, you're going to reap that back tenfold.
Yeah.
If you're given being a jerk. So my philosophy in life has always been everybody's a 10. And when I meet you, because you consciously or subconsciously, you give everybody a number when you meet them.
Yeah.
They're not dressed right. Okay, a little lower. Their teeth are crooked, and so you give them a number. And I try to go in with everybody I meet, whether they're the richest person on the world or a homeless man, they're a 10.
Yeah.
And I give them a 10, and I mentally see that. I make my brain see them as a 10, because some of them I have to make myself, and then I let them move that number based on how they treat others or how they treat me.
Yeah.
So if I see them treating others like a jerk, that number goes down. If they're treating me like a jerk, or they're, backbite me or whatever, that number goes down. And it's really hard to raise the number for me. Like, you're going to have to do something that really makes you stand out, but I will let you move that number. I'm not going to let what somebody else tells me about you move that number.
Yeah.
And so I think, because I go into that, when I was riding bulls, my nicknames are huge in rodeo, and my nickname my first year was Permit, because I was a permit holder, but I'm hanging out with all the top 20 in the world guys, and everybody's like, well, what are you doing? Well, when I went to rodeos, I would always find someone that everybody else wouldn't hang their rope next to, and I'd hang my rope next to them, and I'd be like, I would just, because I knew it would mean more to them to have me hanging my rope and talking to them. And so I always had that mentality. And so then I get to the professional level, and I reap that back, and I'm jumping in the car with the greatest guys, and just learning from them. And so I've tried to do that in comedy. I try to treat everybody as nice as I possibly can, and I feel, and you're going to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're tired, and you're mad because your set didn't go as well as you wanted it to, or But I try to treat everybody. I want, when somebody leaves, I would rather them say he was a great guy than he was a great comedian. That means more to me. Than them just. I don't want. There's a lot of great comedians that are absolute jerks.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to be around those guys. And I think that's why I gravitate to someone like Bargatze, because he's known as that.
Yeah.
So
I just got told I was a 10, but for some reason I feel bad.
He just took you down a few notches.
Yeah.
He's got fake teeth, so he's like 11.
That's not true.
If fake teeth is you gotta remember, I'm in the bull riding phase, so fake teeth is pretty common for my profession.
Are they made out of wood?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that old, so it's not George Washington, anything like that. But
mine are made out of wood.
And I grew up in the Dakotas, so hockey players, and so it's. Yeah. Then I come to Louisiana. I'm like, these are my people.
Yeah.
So
that's where I'm from, man.
Yeah. South Dakota's people are great people too.
Great faces, great people.
They all kind of remind me of you.
Yeah.
It's just, everybody has like the same thought process.
Yeah. It's funny because people hear that I'm from South Dakota. And they're like, oh, well, do you know so-and-so? And like they expect us to all know each other.
Yeah.
So I go on a rant. I'm like, we don't all, I understand that there's only, there's only less than 1 million people. And then they'll say, well, they'll tell me who it is. I'm like, oh, well, I know them.
Yeah. We didn't say the name first.
So the culture shock for me going to South Dakota and meeting people from South Dakota is like, you're in Texas, right? We've got a lot of land. And they are, so in Texas, if you know somebody who has a 10, 15,000 acre ranch, like
that's a big, and
that's gigantic.
10, 15,000 acres. That's just normal.
10, 15,000 acres up there is a front yard.
I make people in Texas mad because when I moved to Texas, I had this guy. And he's come to church. He's like, I got the biggest ranch in the county. And he's like, you got, and just bragging about it. I'm like, biggest ranch in the county in Texas. Like, this is going to be
huge.
So then he's like, hey, we're working cows. Do you want to come work with us? I said, do you want me there at 5 a.m? Because we usually start about 5 a.m. because it's going to take you all day just to get to the end of the pasture on horseback. And so He's like, no, you can be there by 2. And I'm thinking, 2 in the morning, man. He's like, no, 2 in the afternoon. It's like, oh, we're going to gather them the night. Like, I couldn't. He's like, no. And I show up, and I made him mad because sometimes I'll speak my mind. I'm like, dude, you ain't got a big ranch. You got a sorting pin. That's what you got. This is nothing. It was like, yeah, it's different. But land here is so much more expensive. Yeah. But it is that way. Like, it's.
I mean, I was when I was talking to the people who owned the pheasant hunting ranch, I was telling them, I was like, yeah, we have a company lease, it's huge. It's 15,000 acres. And then I said, how much are y'all farming out here? He goes,
probably hay and 15,000
He was like,
acres.
We have 80,000 acres.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
Do you have neighbors?
Yeah.
My grandparents, the pasture they hunt buffalo, the pasture that they outfit buffalo hunts on is 100,000 acres.
I mean, what do you do with all that except for grow CRP?
Cattle. But here's the other thing here. It's not, here you measure cattle per acre.
Yep.
There you measure acres per cattle. So because here you guys get a lot of rain. Like everybody's talking about a drought now. Like they would give anything to have as much rain as you guys have had.
Okay.
Like for them, it rains so much here, everything dies quick because the roots aren't that deep because it gets so much rain. Yeah. So here you got a lot more water sources, and so here the hard thing with cattle is the bugs. So you have to have what we call having a little ear in them, having a little. You have your Bos taurus and Bos indicus getting a little deep in here, but that's like your Brazilian breed. They're taller, skinnier, big long ear. Their stomachs can handle when they eat with their tongue, and when their tongue swoops, they pick up all them bugs. And so you'll have that's where you have Brangus instead of Angus down here, stuff like that.
I thought that was a mix between a Brahma bull and an Angus cow.
Yeah, Brangus. Yeah. Brahma is the Bos indicus. That's your.
We learned a lot about the cow market from our sponsor, Good Ranchers, because they got all the American ranches.
I'd love to get hooked up with those guys. Just dropping that hint to you.
All right.
So.
No, well, they're gonna hear this.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean,
they got good stuff, man.
What better sponsor
you're
for
a
comedian for a Good Ranchers than a Good Rancher?
There you go.
And I mean, it's.
Well, we don't want them to kick us off and bring you on.
Yeah. No,
he's fluttering y'all too.
I've been a fan of Good Ranchers for quite a while. When I heard on one of your podcasts, they're in the Houston area. I was like,
dude. I didn't. They're in Friendswood. I had no idea. Like I did something with them, and then once we talked about doing something for the podcast, it was like, hey, we're in Texas. Where are you at? And they told. I was like, dude. 15 minutes.
Anybody that brings the American beef market up is
good
dude.
And if you ever heard Ben talk about anything before, like our podcast, other ones, man, he's super passionate about it too, which is really cool.
No, I'm serious, man. I'd love to sit down and just talk to those guys, just because I think it's. I hear a lot of the podcasts I listen to, they sponsor.
They do.
And I won't say them because if I say if I say the podcast, then half the population will cancel me. So I'll just, but they'll know which one I'm talking about.
We know about
we know who they sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got one of my friends that I do comedy with. He's got a huge show and sponsor, and so I've got jokes just for his crowd.
Okay, good.
Because it's it's a very political crowd, and so but I don't tell those jokes other than at his places.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
You
kind of steer clear of that.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah, I try to. I go back to the Michael Jordan Republicans buy shoes too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, like he refused to take
I
a
just
side.
said that the other day to somebody.
So I say that all the time. Republicans buy shoes too.
All right. So who you voting for in 2024? No, I can't.
I got my guys. I'm actually. So here's the thing. Like long before I even did comedy, my wife's always like, "You need to do a political podcast," because I'm pretty opinionated.
Yeah.
Like I get over opinionated sometimes, and so like fantasy football, we've talked about. Like I'm actually praying about maybe starting a podcast. I just know how much work it is. Like I won't do something until I know I've got the time to do it and it's going to be top notch quality. Yeah. But I'm like I'm thinking about like I could totally do a podcast I could bring comedian guys on. Mm-hmm. I could bring guys like you guys on, but I could do the rodeo side.
Yeah,
because I've got
you got a lot of life experience,
and just have so many different angles, and really the concussion side and because I'm connected with a lot of guys in sports that have concussion issues. Because I've really made it a goal of mine to try to get ahead of a lot of the concussion issues, helping people because with concussions, when you want to commit suicide with a concussion, that's completely different than a depression.
Yeah.
You just wake up and it's like a checklist. Your brain's like, okay, I'm gonna kill myself today. And so it's like getting yourself and having a friend help me out of that situation now I know the trigger. Like he told me, he said, all right, let's talk about something else for 30 minutes. And then if you still want to do it, okay. And I got my mind on something else. And then it was like, man, I was stupid for even thinking that, you know. But your mind, your brain just won't give up on it. It's like you just have to do it.
I've had my fair share of concussions, and like you, I immediately knew because I would throw up, and it wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
And
I haven't stopped in 20 years throwing up. So.
I never really thought, like, it never came to me, you know, you could have some brain injury or anything like that.
So how you felt after a concussion? That's me 24/7.
So how did you rehab yourself to be better? Or you just
lots of just brain exercises? Peak. I do the peak deal every day, and then I rotate things out.
It's an app.
It's an app that just does random things to train your brain. I do Sudokus and
really
solitaires and
you read.
I read. The craziest one, and this is we're at the neurologist, and I'm a gamer. I know I'm 40-something years old, but I feel like we're that first generation of gamers.
Yeah. And
so I was like a big gamer when I was young, and my roommate in college was like one of the first competitive. Like he was doing it before it was big to be in competitive gaming, and so the neurologist said you need to do an hour of video games a week or 7 hours a week. And my wife was like, he paid you to say that, didn't he? So
at least 4 hours a day, Nick.
Yeah, you got to play. And so he was like, well, I can bring my boss in and see his opinion. So he brings a guy and we haven't met yet. And he's like, I think he needs to be doing 2 hours or 2 hours a day, 14 hours a week. And I looked at my wife. I said, I think we need a third opinion on this. I like the way this is going. But I will tell you this. She will block my entire calendar off a day and say you're doing nothing but playing video games today. She's become the biggest believer in it. Minecraft is like, it's crazy as it is.
So it's thinking.
Dude, text me some of your builds, man.
Yeah, oh, dude. I'll show you. When we're done, I'll show you the builds I'm doing right now. I built a Denver Broncos life-size stadium.
I hear my kids say that all the time. This is funny.
Dude, my builds that I'm like, I'm built.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but I love it.
Well, my son has
your son knows.
a realm that, and all my nieces and nephews are in it, so I can play with them. You know, and interact with them, and then like other people are on it, and so I'm like one of those. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big.
Do it the right way, yeah.
So I've got like a whole area, and my game name is Fainting Goat. You know, FG. So Fainting Goat. Yeah, that's what my friends call me is FG, and so because I pass out all the time, and so
dude, that's horrible. I love it.
Hey, make light of it. Oh man, if people hung around my brother and us and him in a wheelchair, they would think we were the most horrible human beings.
Oh, so he's paralyzed. He's paralyzed.
Oh,
wow.
From his injury.
From here down. Yeah, he actually broke his neck in the same place that Christopher Reeves broke his neck, and had the same doctor work on him. And he said it's identical. He said it's like looking at the same two deals. Yeah, so he's paralyzed from here down, and yeah.
Do they dance alike?
He's got a little more movement. They roll downhill the same though.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Yeah.
Dude, I know. Yeah.
I can beat him in a race.
Is he older or younger?
He's older. Yeah, he's a couple years older. Yeah.
Beat him in a race uphill.
He's gonna watch this and he's gonna be so mad at me for telling this. But we fought my dad did not like us to argue. He's like, you don't argue with your mouths, you argue with your fists. That's probably where my concussion issues started. And we'd drag down and fight. So he comes home from the hospital. He's 18, I'm 16, and I just come back from some rodeos, and he's trying to wake me. I'm tired. Like I've been driving all night and I'm tired. I'm dreaming that my feet are broken. And I wake up and he's running over my feet with his wheelchair trying to wake me up. So I'm fighting bad. Like I'm gonna take him on, right? Like, and then I'm like, no, I can't be the guy that punches a kid in a wheelchair.
Dude.
And then he rams me with his wheelchair, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the guy that punches a kid in a wheelchair. So I come at him, and he's got these legs sitting out here, and he's got a cutting horse. I can't get to him. He just keeps wiping me out with his legs.
Yeah.
So I put a Dusty Tuckness move on him, got around behind him. I jumped up on the battery pack, and I put him in a chokehold. And I got him in this chokehold, and he's trying to punch me, but he can't make a fist, so he's more WWF slapping me, you know. And I'm just laying into him, and he turned his wheelchair to full spin while we talked the guys at the hospital. He just got back from the hospital. Like, he'd been in the hospital for like a year. We talked him into ramping this thing up. We talked like making it fast. So this thing spun. They claimed it spun at 15 miles an hour, which... So he starts spinning. I'm wearing socks. I'm standing on the battery pack. My feet slip off. So I'm hydroplaned out. Well, he can't control his legs, so his legs shoot out this way. And he slides off the chair. So his feet are this way, my feet are that way, and his shirt hangs on the joystick, so we're just whipping. We're taking out lamps. We're taking out everything. Yeah. And
Yeah, I want to go for a ride.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this story to Fiverr. Get somebody to animate this story for us.
And then, so we hit a couch. Both of us fly out of the couch. Like, we hit the ground, right? And we're laying there, and my dad walks in from outside, and he's mad. And my brother's like, Dad, we ain't got a spanking in a while. Give us a spanking. I'm like, of course you want a spanking. You can't feel nothing.
He just punched me in the arm.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we have a lot of fun. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's terrible, but
Dude,
he has some of the best.
you gotta be self-deprecating. Self-deprecating comedy's
and so
fun.
So with the comedy, I do a lot of like making fun of myself, passing out and stuff. And so I haven't passed out on stage yet. I have from the pulpit, but I haven't passed out.
So when you pass out, is it for a long time?
I don't ask my wife. For me, it's a blink of an eye. So.
It's
People
like a
always
spell.
laugh at her because they always panic, and then she's always in the back going, he's all right.
Leave him alone.
Let him have his space." And
He's
everybody's
trying.
always
He
blown
does.
away.
He does it for attention.
So I used to like, and that's where I got a lot of concussion. I'm gonna have to move this. I keep hitting that. I used to get a lot of. I'd pass out and get knocked out again, and I had a really bad one. So about every time things get worse. So here last year, I was trying to change. If I bend over to pick stuff up, I'll get relaxed. That's why I can't work out anymore. That's why I'm gaining weight. Is because if my heart rate gets up above 120, I pass out.
That's not even that real high.
That's not that high. So like I go for a long walk, I get super lightheaded because my brain's not telling the blood to go until too late, and then it rushes all at once. And so like before we knew the brain injury, I was working out one time and I had shoulder issues, and I was doing it's elliptical. Is that what it is? And I woke up. Passed out, woke up, my shoulder dislocated. I'm just laying there because I passed out. They just ripped my shoulders out of socket, and stuff. And so I was like, well, I can't do that.
It's not
anymore.
funny.
It's so funny.
Yeah. And so, but this time, so I was bending over to pick up the dog water, and I'll just bend over, and they say it's like a tree. I looked like Tim Anderson last night, just kind of stiff up and just. And so I fell, and she works out a lot. She's a marathon runner, and
she's rubbing it in your face the whole time.
I would love to, man. Like if you knew how much I loved working out, and I loved like hands-on work, like it's hard for me not to do this stuff. But I hit my head on her workout tower that she had all her weights and cracked my head, and I woke up from that having seizures, and now I've been having seizures ever since. Never had them before, and I've had like 6 in the last 7 or 8 months. So
You need to wear one of those freaking helmets, like
everybody sends me the Japanese people that have when you start to fall, it blows up like the Michelin man. I'm like, that'd be fun, but as many times I'd have to stuff that back in, it'd be. I ain't doing that.
That'd be a great thing to wear.
But like people say when I pass out, like
it's violent.
Like so when you hit, like the people are like, oh, he's faking it until they see me pass out. They're like, oh yeah, he ain't faking it. But I'm 41 now, so it hurts.
When you pass out, is it just random, or is it when you're doing some certain things?
Exertion sometimes.
Okay.
Getting heat. So when I had COVID, or when COVID started lifting, I had
turn the air off.
Most guys are like, they're like, let's do this. Hey, Ben, that's what. So you're good friends, they'll laugh at this, but the friends that are going to be carrying your casket at your funeral, they're the ones that are putting stuff on the ground for me to pick up. They're like,
absolutely.
Let's see this. Let's see where this goes. I have a feeling that's you too.
I'd be that friend that would pass out while carrying your casket.
Yeah, exactly.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're always joking about that stuff. But I have no idea what it is.
I mean, it sucks. You got to make a lot of it too. I'm sure it's just helping
you can't
cope.
Well, so I have a dog that has taught herself to warn me before I pass out, and she has saved me.
Really?
I used to think she was causing me to pass out because she would jump up in my face and then I'd pass out. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this dog. And then I was like, okay, well, one time she did it. I'm like, I'm just gonna test something. I sat down. And then I woke up and she was leaning against me. She caught me. I'd sat down and passed out. And she caught me. So I realized that's what she was doing.
So she did this on her own?
On her own. She figured it out on her own.
Probably
and
secrete
I think it's
some
she was always outside and she liked being inside, and she knew this would keep her inside, is because I'd have to keep her with me. And so she learned this on her own. And then our last house we lived in, we had an in-ground pool. And I was home alone. She wouldn't go anywhere near the pool. She would never, nothing. She wanted nothing to do with the water, because we threw her in one time to teach her to swim John Wayne style, and she didn't like that.
That's what we do with my son.
Yeah, and so so we had I was working on the pool, and I would have her check. I had called her to me. She didn't act like anything was happening. Like, okay, so I'm on my knees, and I'm picking up the little buckets, and I could feel it coming on, and I tried to lean back, and that's the last thing I remembered. And I passed out face first into the deep end of the pool. And home alone, passed out face first in the deep end of the pool. I woke up, and she was swimming under my chin, holding my head above water.
Oh, my gosh.
And she was worn. I don't know how long I was out, but I know that dog had no energy left. Wow. So I wake up, and I kind of get my chickens back in the coop, and she's done. So she starts sinking. She's like, she was going to kill herself to keep me alive. And once she saw I was awake, she stopped. So I dropped to the bottom of the pool. Excuse me, 41-year-old puberty sucks. So I dropped into the pool, and I shot up and picked her up. And then I just worked my way around the pool, and I threw her on over the edge, and we laid there, both of us just huffing and puffing. And
he was swimming with his head underneath the chin.
I was cooking buffalo steaks that night, and she got a buffalo steak. And she's been the most spoiled
What kind of dog is it?
It's a Catahoula.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the most spoiled dog I've ever.
That's the ones that like they heard.
Yeah, they do. They're made for
like cur dog.
They're made for hunting pigs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's lazy.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. But she picked, and that's
stay away from the dang pool, dude.
Yeah. Oh, we sold the house.
Okay.
No, well, that was the thing is that we're actually going to buy you a pool.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
We're going to actually jog.
So
right
here's the
after
thing:
this
everybody's always like, "What's the one thing you can't do? Swim." I can't swim.
Dale can't swim.
I'm not.
You can't swim?
I can swim.
I can't float.
I
I can
out.
swim from here to there if I have goggles on. So I was that dad that would get in with my kids and have the goggles, be the total idiot, you know. I would get in the pool. I'd wait, because our house we were right by the school at our last house, and it's country, it's Tarkington, so it's like the prairie.
Yeah.
So when we were by the school, it still was pretty open space, and everybody come hang out at our place, and we had the pool, and I'd wait for all the teenagers to get in a huddle. And then I'd put my little goggles on, and I'd swim over to them, and I'd just stand there, and I'd just stare at them, and they'd all just be looking at me awkward, and say, "Okay." Just had to pee, and then I'd climb out and not say anything. Oh man, they would scatter like cats every time. And then
I'm gonna start wearing goggles.
Yeah. Oh, I'd wear goggles with the
snorkel
because when I I'd be swimming and pass out from exertion. I'm that dork in there with the guy. It's 100% like, and so I would all the time. I would be swimming, and then I'd wake up, and they'd be dragging me along the edge of the pool, getting Dad out of the water.
I'm the type
I had
to
the
put
snorkel just for that.
I'd be the type to put my thumb in the top of your snorkel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm like that too. We had a friend of ours. He's a hockey player, and he come down and visit. We didn't know how deep our pool was, and it was January. And he come down and visited, and you know, that water was pretty cold. And we was like, hey, he's 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah, he's pretty short.
Yeah, so he said, jump in that pool, and we want to see how deep it is. And so he jumped in. You know, like I'm always, it's like, here, you guys will like this story. So rodeo pranking is big in rodeo. Like it is.
Okay.
It's you're in a hurry. You do a lot of driving. You're with the same guys all the time. You pull a lot of pranks. So I'd been traveling with Cody Custer during the summer. Cody was the 92 world champion bull rider. He's my mentor. He's the prank king. Like he is still to this day. He's a Hall of Famer. He's in the Rodeo Hall of Fame, but he's known more as a pranker. So I'd learned. I go back to college. My mentality was I don't get even, I get ahead. So if you prank me, I'm going to prank you back pretty bad. So this steer wrestler on the rodeo team pranked me. Steer wrestlers are the linebackers of the rodeo
huge.
world. Yeah, they're big guys. So he'd prank me, and so I'm like, I'm going to get this guy back. And the best prank is them knowing you're going to get him and not knowing. So he wasn't getting any sleep because he was worried about it. Well, one night I'm watching him eat, and he's chugging some NyQuil. And I'm like, I asked him what he's doing. He said, I got to get some sleep. So I'm just going to drink this NyQuil. And I'm like, tonight's my night. So I sneak up to his room and pick his lock and getting ready to go in there and pull a prank on him while he's sleeping. And this freshman comes walking by. He's like, what are you doing? And I didn't want him to rat me out to the RA. So I asked him if he wanted to be a part of the prank. He's like, yes, you know.
Yeah.
So we went in, and the steer wrestler's laying on the bed on his stomach. I said, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull his pants down. You're going to hold his butt cheeks together, and I'm going to super glue his butt cheeks together.
Oh, he's dude, like, that's beyond pranking.
No, it gets better. So as we're walking towards it, I thought I got the opportunity to pull off the ultimate double prank. So as we get up there, we get the pants pulled down. I accidentally drop the lid. And I tell this freshman, I said, hey, can you pick that lid up? And so while he's picking the lid up, I put as much super glue on the outside of the butt cheeks where his hands were going to go as I could.
No.
So he puts his hands on the butt cheeks, squeeze them together, and I lather him up. Tell him count to 100. He gets to 100. Nick. I said, what?
You got some of my
I got super glue on my hands. They're stuck to his butt cheeks. It's like, sucks to be you. And I left the door open because there was a bunch of Japanese foreign exchange students, and they'd walk the hallways at night because they hadn't adjusted to the time zone yet. So I knew they were going to walk by and just see this guy just standing there holding on to this kid's butt cheeks, you know. So he's holding the butt cheeks. Sure enough, some Japanese kid walks by and he's just like, what's up? Like, he didn't even know what to do. Yeah. So, yeah.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
yeah.
Legend has it, his hands are still stuck to his butt.
Yeah. So, well, the guy was starting to roll over. So he thought, if I rip my hands real fast, I can get out the door before he realizes it. So he ripped his hands, and the super glue would come apart on the middle of the butt cheeks, but his hands were still super glued. So the guy wakes up, stands up. He's trying to figure out what's going on, and he sees this freshman just hiding back here with his hands on the butt cheeks. And all he knows is that he is groggy. His butt hurts, and there's a freshman hanging on at the back. So
Yeah, it happened to me a couple times.
Oh, that sounds like Vaughn's college years.
Man, I've got these hairy hands.
Yeah. We had one of our traveling partners had a real hairy butt, and we'd always moon. Like, we saw someone rodeo, and we knew we'd moon them.
Yeah.
And we were the college rodeo team. We had a van for the rough stock guys, and we mooned. We knew what happened is when it's cold up in South Dakota, if you write something on the windows, the next time it cold, it shows up. So we all mooned as the vet tech's van. And so we all mooned, put our butt prints up against the window, you know, being college boys. And then we got the vet students come back all mad, and they knew exactly which one was Collins because all the little squiggly lines were on.
Oh, it's like Magnus' butt.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was just like, if you saw someone, if you're driving from, let's say you're going from Atlanta to California, a lot of guys are all going to the same. So you see a car, you know, and everybody's butt's hanging out the window. That's part of rodeo. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cowboy up right there.
Yeah. Rodeo is a lot of traveling. It is like, to give you an idea of, like, you're in Florida, then you're in Canada, then you're in California, then you're in, and it's all in a week's time, you know.
And you're paying for all that travel for just, man, that's a
To go in.
sponsors. Yeah, you're gonna spend $60,000 a year just in travel.
golly.
That
What was your most money you ever earned?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't remember. Yeah, because you're doing so many different events and stuff.
I guess they're probably onesie twos. I mean, they're probably not huge payouts at a time.
I would have good payouts sometimes. I'd win, but I don't know. I'm horrible with remembering numbers, and so there's people watching this that would call me out if I said a number that I'd be wrong, and I'd either be too low or too high. And so I try to stay away from remembering numbers. So math used to be I was on a Mensa scale for IQ, and they think that's why my brain is so high active with my brain, because of the amount of concussions I've had. I shouldn't be active, and so math was like my number one thing. And so where my injury is now, I struggle with numbers, like remembering.
Maybe that's why I failed Algebra 2 twice in high school.
Yeah,
the Algebra 2 is not even math. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah,
is what that is.
That's why I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Who's been the coolest person you've met yet? Like, being a comedian, who's the biggest?
As a comedian, the biggest. We were at what? We were doing a show. Who was that wide receiver? They just traded him to the Cowboys. He was at one of my shows, and like, you know how well your set went by how many drinks you don't have to buy afterwards. And my wife and I were sitting there, and he just loaded our table up with drinks. Brandon Cooks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he was at one of the shows. That was pretty cool, and he was through comedy, not as, other comedians, I guess. I'm trying to think. Rodeo, I met a lot of really cool. There's a respect level when you get to the professional level. There's a level of respect.
It's like
I don't get
sports.
it now because I'm rippled instead of ripped, and so I look like I don't look like I did it before. But when I was doing it, you just meet guys and just an immediate respect between sports and stuff. And so there was all kinds of guys that you got to be around. And my doppelganger, when I was younger, was Travis Pastrana. Looked just like him, and he come to a bull riding school that Cody Custer and I were doing one time.
I love Travis Pastrana, man.
And I'm like, our personalities were exactly the same. Like, I was like, man, it was creepy. But you want to talk about someone? I've only seen 3 guys ever be able to get on a bucking bull and ride them immediately, and Travis was one of them.
He's no fear.
Well, and it's the other 2 guys is with him, because motorcycle riding, like jumping motorcycles and riding bulls, is the same exact technique.
Yeah, I can
Really?
see that.
So yeah, and
you're holding in.
Like,
same
people get on a bug machine, they think, oh, I can do this. Well, bug machine does this. They're not doing that. It's that forward movement.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize how much power.
They got torque and force.
And the G forces and everything. And so guys that ride motorcycles, it's posting. You're doing the same thing. You're taking the power away by getting up your shoulders above their shoulders and stuff. And so
one thing I learned about Travis Pastrana, you'd have to fact check me on it, but so he suffered as a kid from night terrors.
Really?
And I don't know where I got this information, but it sounded good. But he had night terrors, so everything that he does in life it's not as scary to him as those night terrors as a child.
Yeah.
And I didn't have night terrors as a child. I'm scared to do anything.
I wish I wouldn't have had concussions issues and injury issues when he come out with his show Nitro Circus, because I'd have called someone and said, get a hold of him. I want to be on that show. And that was the way I was. I was a daredevil. I'd do anything.
They're coming to Beaumont in October.
I heard that.
I was that guy that, like,
that was a great show too.
Yeah,
like the MTV show he did.
Yeah, I loved it, and that's just
he's really clean.
I am now.
He's a real clean guy though too.
He can't now. I mean,
I'm sure
he drops F-bomb a few times.
I know his crew's pretty rowdy, but he's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, he'll drop a few F-bombs. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's like I said, like I said to you guys before, it doesn't bother me. Like, people think, oh, you're a clean comedian. I mean, if you're around like, if I was bothered by dirty out, you wouldn't last very long as a comedian, because the other guys, it doesn't bother me. Like, I mean, the reality is, I've got friends that dirty is easy to write.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many jokes I have where I'm like, man, I could but I'm just not going to do it. But I've got my friends that I text them to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I got one friend, Nate Dove, and I hope he's watching this so he can hear this. But I send him, you know, he's like, those jokes, you know. And then there's
damn, Nick.
There's a bullfighter there's a bullfighter in Hawaii, Judd Napier. Him and we send each other, like, people doing stupid stuff, and we'll get, like, I have those friends I can trust to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't. I try to be an example.
Yeah.
Especially because by the time we left the youth ministry, we'd pastored over 2,000 kids.
Wow.
You know, and so they're adults now, and they look up to me, and so I try to be an example for them. But, you know, it doesn't bother me, and I'm, you know, I try to live a life that. But I also, when I was riding bulls, I was a teetotaler. I was like over the top Christian, over the top, and I'm like, I would have hated me. You know, I'd have hated that person. Like, I was Tim Tebow.
It's too much.
Like, they couldn't interview me. They'd interview me on TV, and I'd start preaching salvation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, you know, that bull reminds me of the head. No, it wasn't like that. But, you know, I didn't drink till I met her family, you know, stuff like that. And so we went to Europe, and her family tainted me, and now.
So her family made you drink?
Yes. Well, no, that was
initiation.
I love her parents. I tell teenagers, don't just pray for your future wife, pray for your future in-laws too. Yeah, but like now, I'll drink a Fireball before I go to bed, or Scotch and Coke helps me sleep, and I would have never touched that before.
Really?
You know, because it was like, I can't believe I'm minting it on a podcast, because there'll be people.
Well, you know that's called alcoholism, right?
No, definitely not there. So, yeah, definitely not there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the person I was then, but I still try to be an example.
Yeah.
I try to be out, and I try to be. When I was riding bulls, I knew people were watching me all the time. People are watching you just as much to see you fail as they are to see you. And I have people either love me or they hate me, and my haters hate me.
Really?
And my haters, like my wife, that's the biggest head nod she's given right now is my haters hate everything about me.
It's crazy.
What do they hate though?
I'm a strong personality, you know, and I don't. I'm a nice guy, but I will not put up with crap, and I'll call you out for it. And so sometimes I might go a little over the top, calling you out for your crap, or just like I said,
keep your heart rate down.
If you treat me bad, I write you off. Like, I don't have the mental capacity to put up with your drama. So I'm just like, you know, and my daughter's picked that up, and so she's got the same. Like, if people get dramatic, she's like, done with that. And so they're like, oh, she's a horrible. No, she just ain't gonna put up with your drama.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not gonna be like, if you're gonna be dramatic, I don't have the.
You know what's
energy
funny? Speaking of
that.
your the first time you drank. So I haven't drank in going on 4 years.
Congratulations.
Since I stopped
Quitter.
drinking, I've gotten the mentality of, I'm not going to please anybody.
Yeah.
And if you do something to me, I have too many friends already.
Yeah.
I just cut you loose.
Well, and then and if somebody, especially like if you talk behind my back or like we were talking, I had a comedian at a show last night, and I've got him doing some shows, and he was kind of a jerk towards me, and I told my wife I was coming home, like I'm questioning putting him on my shows. Now, like I know you might have had a bad day, so I'm gonna give you another shot. But like, I want you to want to be on my shows. Like I pay well. Like I most people openers, you're gonna give them just a little bit. I'm like, no, when I'm opening for someone, I want to be paid well, so I'm gonna pay you a good amount, and so you want to be on my shows.
Yeah.
And we've been selling out all year, like from Reno, Nevada to South Dakota to Montana to Georgia to wherever. We've been selling out everywhere we've been going, and so sellouts, I get a higher percentage, which means you get a higher percentage.
Yeah.
And so like, so if you treat me bad, you talk behind my back, I could, like, there's a club owner that was a jerk towards me, and now he called me to do a show, and I said, all right, full price. And he's like, well, you didn't give this guy full price. Well, yeah, he treats me good.
You want to go burn it down? We'll help you.
No, because it's a good place. It's a good place. That's a flaw of mine. I go over the top. Like if you treat me bad once, I'm like, I'm done with you. Like I could
do you book your own stuff? You have somebody that helps with that?
I need an agent. I'm at that spot right now where I'm realizing I need an agent. Like I also learned from riding bulls, I'm not just gonna have an agent to have an agent.
Yeah.
I need a management, because I'm having a hard time keeping up with. It's keeping track of everything. And then the other thing is it's like going into a hospital without health insurance. If you go into some of these clubs without an agent, they see you coming, and they'll take some extra off the top, and then you don't want to have a bad reputation. You have an agent, they go in there and they do that. They're the jerk for you. They go in there and like, no, this is what we agreed on. And I'm too nice of a guy, and so I let people take advantage. So I've lost thousands of dollars off of just letting guys. But I also I want an agent that's going to elevate me. I've had some people offer, but I'm like, I don't want to just do local bars and like, I want someone who's going to, so if they can't get me on late night shows or the Grand Ole Opry, I don't want to. I want to work with.
They do comedians at Grand Ole Opry?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, they'll do one every show. Yeah.
Okay.
And so but I want to like if you can keep me booked at good shows, or even in the country music scene, like even the Texas music. Like if there's an agent, will get me going and doing shows with those guys. I'm telling you, like it works. We did. I did Tris Munsick and I did a show. In Fort Pierre, and it works, man. I did comedy, and then he played, and he's like, it's the first time we've ever had a crowd engaged on the first song.
That's cool.
And then I've started when I can control shows, I have someone with a guitar playing while everybody and singing songs while everybody's sitting down, because comedy shows you can't start till everybody's sat.
Yeah. And
so sometimes it's 45 minutes after the start time that people are sat down. So I'll have someone come in and just fill that time, and all the openers are like, man, this crowd was prepped, because the opener's the hardest job. Because you're going in cold.
Yeah.
And your job's to warm up for the feature, and the host's job is to kind of figure out what the crowd likes, and then pass it on to the feature, and the deal. The opener comes out there and is cold, has no information, and you're trying to.
They run recon.
Run recon. A good opener will go back to the headliner and say, hey, this, or in the feature, and be like, this group over here really is engaging. These guys here won't stop talking. So then you just don't look over there, like if you lean in,
throw you off.
Yeah. Well, me with my brain injury too, and I'm people. Some comedians get mad when people are talking in the back. Like you do bar shows, people are going to talk. They're there, and I'm not going to. The bar's paying us to come in. I don't want people to stop coming to the bar because some comedian hollered from the microphone at them, hey, y'all shut up. And you hear it a lot.
That would distract me.
Yeah, but I'm married with 2 teenagers. I'm used to people not listening while I'm talking.
Yeah.
So it's like,
show goes on.
Yeah, but I don't do crowd work because
that's probably a slippery slope.
Well, because my brain injury, I have to stay on script. I was at that show in North Dakota I was just at. I'm in the middle of the show, and I'm in the middle of a bit, and I look down, and the guy in the very front row, he's an older guy, which you would not think would be, and he's elbowing his wife going, it's going to be his cousin. It's going to be his cousin. I was like, oh, you know the bit, and I went off and was talking to him about it, because that bit's, millions of views, and so I was like, oh, you know this bit? And he's like, yeah, and we're laughing, and then I went to start the bit up again, well, with my brain, I couldn't remember where I let off at, and so I left out the meat of the joke.
Oh,
and then,
man.
Get back into it, and everybody's looking, he's laughing, and everybody else is looking at me like, what? And so I just don't get off script. If they get to talking, like I will do some a little bit here or there, but I try to stay. I'm very, and it's the motivational speaker in me. You give me 30 minutes, I'm going to land on 30 minutes. You give me 45 minutes, I'm going to land on 40. I tried my hardest, and so I have it planned out. I know how long all my jokes are.
Yeah.
If I get off at all, then I have no idea what my time is like, and so I don't know. But it can be distracting if they're what distracts me more is a monitor that I'm hearing myself back. That
would throw me
more.
off.
Yeah, that distracts me more.
Oof.
And that's the problem with doing like shows with country bands is
because they got the front monitors.
And if the sound man, you tell them beforehand, hey, make sure cut the monitors. If they forget, it's distracting. Yeah, that's harder for me. It's like talking to someone on the phone and you're hearing your echo. It's really, really hard. So.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned doppelganger earlier, so we always do this on the show.
Yeah.
We like who's your not you. So we obviously me and Vaughn.
You've mentioned a few, but we're not going to use those.
Yeah. So I guess Travis John was one you had
when I was younger. When I was younger, like when I was riding bulls, I was John Wayne, but when I was at school, I was Steve Urkel. Like I was pretty nerdy.
Oh.
But
you weren't Stefan Urkel.
Yeah, I looked like actually a lot of people call me Barney. I look like Barney Fife, super skinny kid and stuff. But now that I'm older, I can tell you who my wife thinks I am, and this shows you how fooled I have her. She thinks it's a cross between Jim from The Office and that actor that was named after an overcooked Chinese dish, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Chris. You hear it, you'll never hear it again another way. So she thinks I'm between those two, and I'm like, there's no way.
Dude, you just ruined Chris Pratt.
Someone else told me that. I've never been able to.
Yeah.
It's stuck in my head.
So in our group text, I sent them. I said, hey, remember we got to start doing this. So we have a couple different ways we do it. So one, he said Danny McBride. I was like, that's a good one. See that.
McBride. So I'm horrible about knowing, but you'll have to show me a picture.
Danny McBride.
He was the guy who played on Eastbound and Down. He's on the Righteous Gemstone. You ever heard about that show?
I'd have to see. I'd have to see.
They got a new show on HBO.
Okay.
It's called Righteous Gemstones.
I'll have to. I don't watch
but
a lot of.
it's pure satire against mega churches.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
But John Goodman's the head of the church.
Okay.
Their last name's Gemstones.
Okay.
So it's called Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So Dan McBride's
show me a picture.
He's the younger son. And his brother and sister, they're running the church now.
We were driving, listening to your podcast. Oh no, not him.
No.
Yep.
Dude, I love him.
Not that maybe, but
he's great. Yeah,
I see it. I do see it.
That one, yeah. Who was it? So you guys were talking. Your wife, my wife was driving with me one time. We was listening to the first time I was listening to your podcast, and there was an app, and she pulled the app up.
Star by Face.
Who was it? Who did it say it was Ice Cube?
Yeah,
I think it said Ice Cube.
No, it said LL Cool J.
LL Cool J. That's right. Yeah, LL Cool J. Yeah. I think the person you had on said Ice Cube. Yeah,
LL Cool J, Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of friends who are really good friends with Larry the Cable Guy. I've never interacted with him much. I did at the Houston Rodeo when he did the concert at the Houston Rodeo. One of his really good friends is one of my good friends, and so we ran out in the arena, and you know how it spins.
Yeah.
And so we ran and we stood, and he saw his friend standing there, and then when it spun, we ran to the other side, and he did this double take, and he was like, and so like on the special, he's going, you guys got to stop doing that. Like I feel like I'm drunk up here. People thought he was talking about the spin. He was talking to us, running to each side. That's about the only interaction. But I've got friends who are like very good friends. We go to Cornhusker games with him, stuff like that, and I'm always like, drop my name.
No kidding, dude.
Give me. Like, I'm not, I won't self-promote myself. Like, I hate that. Like, I won't call people and it's like, you need to have me come to your church or you need to have me come to your club. I won't do that. But I am not afraid to say, hey, if you guys pass my connection on, like, please, and most of the success I've had has been friends that are helping me, pass that on and stuff. So.
Word of mouth.
That's good, man.
Word of mouth is huge in this business.
It's the best thing you can have.
Yeah, I tell people if you book me a show, like if you get me connected with someone, book me a show, I'll give you a percentage of what they pay me, like a finder's fee, because I wouldn't have had that show if you hadn't made it. Now, if I had that connection before. If I didn't have that connection, absolutely, I'll give you a finder's fee. Like
we need to get you onto the Dale Not Dale.
Well, I already texted. I texted him, said I'm game. Like if I'm not already booked, I'm game.
We need to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm game.
It's not it's you.
Yeah,
you just got to tell me a date and I'll get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's all we need.
I need to talk to Sean too. Me and Sean been talking about getting together. I haven't followed up with him. Yeah. So he's been traveling all over the place. Seems like.
Yeah. I'm game. I think it'd be fun. Get you guys up there.
Yeah. I'd be down.
I mean, I'm
Then we're gonna each do a set and see. And then we're gonna have a crowd vote who's the best.
Yeah. Between the two of you guys?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's going to go about as good as your
Height.
no, well, your height, but I was going to say didn't you guys grapple here recently?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was passed out. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
He got his heart rate above 120, and
I got a phone call from some of my rodeo friends, and they were laughing. They were like, we had this they said we was having this conversation. Who would you not want to fight? Like when we were younger. And the one guy goes, I wouldn't have wanted to fight Nick because I was a skinny, lanky guy. Like I worked out a lot, but I couldn't keep weight on. So I was 135, 140, just lanky. But I was scrappy. And he's like, I wouldn't want to fight him. And he said, we had to call you because someone said, well, I'd fight him now.
Yeah.
Just dance back and forth till he passes out. It's like, yeah, it's pretty true. So,
That's true.
yeah.
I will fight for the undefensible. Like if somebody can't fight for themselves, like I will. Like if someone hits a girl, like I'm knocking chairs over to. My wife's like, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like you will. You
better hope you land
like
that one that one punch because that's all you got.
Yeah, my dad always said, if you hear the jaw break, you know you hit him right.
Oh
my God.
God.
Yeah, my dad didn't ever say that.
Yeah. My dad was.
You grew up on a ranch.
Yeah, ranch boys, you don't want to fight ranch.
I
farm
bet.
boys.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Together
There's a
some
bull
blouses.
rider. I won't say his name. There's a bull rider. Was a big time bull rider, but he got really bad into drugs, and they were at a bull riding somewhere, and he got drugged up pretty good. And I've got very good information on this story, and this is when he got kicked out of the tour, but he had got drugged up, and he come downstairs wanting to fight somebody, and he picked on a South Dakota ranch boy that's a bull rider. And that kid whooped the fire out of him.
Really?
And then he goes back up to his room, must have snorted some more stuff, come back down, ready to go. And he whooped the fire out of him again. And when the cops showed up, it took 3 cops to subdue that guy. And that one ranch boy was just playing with him. Like, you do not want to farm and ranch boys. We're throwing hay bales.
I was about to say, you guys are just
15,000 acres. We're haying 15,000 acres, all square bales. My dad had all square bales, and then I go to college and he got a round baler. I'm like, you stinker.
My dad.
But his philosophy was, if you buck off, I'll pay your if you run out of money, I'll pay your entry fees, but you're going to work for them. And so there's a lot of times where you'd want to just give up, and you're like, nah, I don't want to go home and throw hay bales. I'm going to keep. And so you kind of grit it out a little bit more for that check, you know. Because if you buck off, if you get injured, you're really screwed.
I was always around
Justin
triangle
Sports
bales.
Medicine Fund is the best thing they've ever done. That helps pay your bills and things like that when you get hurt. If you're a pro guy, they'll help pay your bills and stuff.
Really?
But yeah, it's a rough. A lot of guys leave rodeo and don't know what to do with their life. They lose their identity because they don't know. You've always been identified. Like everybody introduced me. Hey, this is my friend Nick Morrison. He's a professional bull rider. And then when I was hurt, they'd be like, "This is my friend Nick. What do you do again?" And, that's a hard.
yeah.
And I was I was 21, so I didn't have some of my guys who were just like I got one friend. He's 43, still riding. Saddle broncs.
Yeah.
But it's like guys, they just can't. They struggle. There's a lot of guys struggle with what to do when they leave. A lot of guys get addicted to drugs because nothing fills. You can't find anything for that adrenaline. When you're a kid, what other kids find fun, you don't like. Sledding's not fun. They find it fun because they get adrenaline. For you, it's like, this is stupid. We got to make a jump, do a double back. If it ain't gonna have to kill me, then it ain't fun. And so your whole life is different because once you've been introduced to that adrenaline, like it's such an adrenaline. Like I said, first time you get on a bucket bowl, you're gonna black out. Like you're not gonna.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Dude, I support you. I'll be there.
Yeah.
We're gonna start introducing you as this is our friend Nick. He's got narcolepsy.
I wish. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. That's one of the hard. Like I cannot sleep. I puke all the time. I'm not. This little thing right here is the best thing I ever. It's called a relief band.
Yeah.
Sponsor me if you want to. But it shocks. It sends a shock up the. You don't have to wear it all the time because it prevents you from puking. It's designed for people that are going through chemo, and but there's times that I'll get so sick that it just delays it. Like I'll still puke with it.
Are you able to drive?
Mm-hmm. So if I'm sitting down, I can usually tell when I'm going to pass out. Like I've got it. So if I'm driving, I'll pull over and I'm good. But I actually would rather drive because if I'm not driving, it don't matter how much Dramamine or anything I take, I'm puking.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I never used to get car sick. I had to stop fishing. I used to fish all the time.
The water.
And then getting disoriented, not knowing where I am. Like that's a sick feeling. Like if I get to questioning stuff, then all of a sudden I'll just start forgetting everything, and then I won't know where I am. I won't know. I'll do this thing. You know when you dream and your dream jumps somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, my dreams are very realistic, and then my realism is very dreamlike. Like it's very cloudy. Like even just looking at you guys now, everything's kind of cloudy, and so I have a hard time differentiating between dream and reality. So I'll dream something, and I'll fight you to the death that it actually happened because I'm convinced it did.
Look the same, yeah.
And then things will happen, and I'm like, no, I dreamed that didn't really happen. So I have a hard time. So my brain will sometimes do that dream jump, and my eyes won't match. Like I'll pull into a McDonald's, and my brain will jump to I'm in McDonald's in another town, and I go to pull out, and all of a sudden nothing looks like that town in front of me, and then all of a sudden I don't know where I am, and then pretty soon I'm like, even who am I? And I'll just won't know at all what's going on. And so, but we've been doing pretty good. I've found some stuff that I drink that helps me with that. And so I haven't had that many issues. It did leave in a comedy club one time, and we had just moved, and I didn't know, like I'm driving through the neighborhood and the GPS is taking me. But at the time our house was brand new, so the GPS would just take you to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I pulled in the neighborhood about 3:00 in the morning. It's 7:30 till I finally got enough of my chickens together I could find my house. So,
Oh God.
You said, wait, so you were just sitting in the car for 4 hours?
I drove for a long time, and then I finally just pulled over. Like I drove by every house going, I'll recognize my house surely, and did not.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my wife's figured out I jumped back 3 years, so it's like really hard for me because like I feel like I've missed, like when it happens, like I'll get teary eyed because I'm like I missed 3 years of my kid's life. Like how do I not? Because they're grown. Like my kids they're at that teen. My son just graduated. In 3 years they grow up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember them as that. I remember them as before. 3 years ago my son was short hair. Now he's got long hair. I'm like, that ain't my son. You know, and stuff. But I never forget her, which is a good thing. We were in Germany. We're in Germany and it happens. And a lot of times I'll read stuff around me, try to figure out what's happening. Well, we had just gone to Auschwitz or one of them camps, Dachau. We'd gone to Dachau camp, and stress from it. My nose started bleeding afterwards, so I knew something was up. And I'm riding with my brother-in-law. He's a doctor in the Army, and I'm riding with him, and I had all of a sudden brained out. And I usually read everything around me, but we're in Germany. And I'm like, crap, I forgot how to read.
These are hieroglyphics.
What are Z's and X's and stuff? Like, what is going on here, Didn't know where I was. I look over, and there's this guy with tattoos all down him. I'm like, did I get kidnapped? Like, what is going on,
Dude.
And then he figured out, he's a doctor, so he's like, something's in his eyes. Like, he ain't. And he's asking, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And so we pull over, and she comes up, and I hear her voice. And then I've
something familiar.
Yeah, something familiar. And I was like, why? She goes, well, we're in Germany. And I'm like, Germany, Texas? Like, I didn't know. We're in Europe. I'm like, Europe, Texas? Like, I could not
comprehend.
We're in another country. Like, I could not comprehend it at all.
That's wild, man.
But it was like 20, 30 minutes driving, before he finally pulled over, because he was like, yeah, he ain't here. They say it's in my eyes. They say they can tell in my eyes. I probably looked like Tim Anderson last night.
And just running nobody behind the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So where'd you play last? Where were you at last night?
There's a Houston area producer, Jay. He does MPH comedy. It's his birthday, and so he kind of got all of his favorite clean comedians together and
cool.
did a show. And so it's the first show I've actually done for him. I didn't headline, but it was Andy Huggins. So I'm like, no, I am not headlining this show. So we went as just a bar in Spring and did for his family and friends and everything like that. It was a super fun show.
What bar?
Spring Tavern is what it was called.
Okay. Is that the newer one?
No, it looks like it's been there a while. There's another one in Spring. I don't do a lot of open mics, but at the Jive Bar, I do the open mic there.
Everybody keeps telling me about this thing in Spring.
The Jive Bar.
A new bar.
Oh,
it's
I
like
don't know.
It's like
that's that thing
within the last 3 years or so.
That's the thing Cody was talking about.
Yeah, but
it's like an ice house or something like that.
It's like an ice house, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of comedians go there and music.
Yeah, music probably. I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know if it is. They haven't called me yet.
So what's next? What's the next for you over the? Like people find you.
I feel like I need to get to that next level. Like I really am. Like just in the last 2-3 days have been like, okay, I need to start figuring out how to get an agent or a management team. I need to have somebody helping me, booking me. Like I'm getting tired trying to just book myself, and it's getting. I don't like promoting myself. I just don't. So that's my next deal is to get to that next level and just try to. I feel like I broke that first class barrier. Where now I'm, a year ago at this time I was just headlining my first show. Like I'd broken through from being a feature to headliner. Now for a full year I've been headlining, and I'm like, okay, I need to. And we've been selling out 300, 400 seat theaters and the casinos and stuff that are the I did a real cool show in Reno, Nevada at the Silver Legacy, and like it was like all the comedians that work in that room are like all. Now mine was a corporate event, but even then it was like, man, this is crazy to be on the same stage that Jeff Foxworthy's going to be on next week, and Jerry Seinfeld was on last week. It was like just,
cool.
And I mean, granted, you know, it's a sold out crowd of 450, but it was linemen, which that's a hard crew to do comedy for because they're pretty serious, you know. But that'll test you. Cowboys are really hard because Cowboys don't show emotion. I was doing a show and this guy was sitting in the front just stone faced the whole time, and I'm like, this guy's hating everything I'm saying. And then he comes to the merch table afterwards. He's like, that's the funniest stuff I ever heard. I'm like, well, tell your face, Harold. As far as I was concerned, you hated every minute of it. So you know, my crowds are a lot. So I do a lot of those. So I don't know. I think my next thing is just, I've got so many directions I can go right now. And I don't want to do the normal grind. Like I'm not afraid of the grind, like at all. When I rode bulls, I wasn't most talented, but nobody there was going to outwork me. Like I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah.
But every comedian does the calls every club and you got to have me come in. And that's just that. And that's not my crowds. My crowds, I like going where we've been selling out is towns that nobody will go to.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got a show in Hallettsville in a couple weeks.
People just want some comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're doing the Blazes Hall in Hallettsville. And we're gonna sell that venue out, and it's like, and it's a dance hall, and all these other comedians are like, you ain't gonna get a crowd in Hallettsville. Well, we did, you know. We sold out a show in Cleveland, Texas, and I had people tell me, don't do a show in Cleveland, you never sell it out. Sold out a show there because we're going places people aren't willing to go. And then the rural thing, you know, I connect to rural people.
Yeah, you can talk to their lifestyle.
What I really want to do, I really want to travel with country musicians. Like I'm enjoying that. When I do shows with country musicians, it's so much fun. They enjoy it. I enjoy it. The crowd is like, and it's always like, this works. Like it's always, you're just blown away how well it works together. So that's something I would like. So I'd like to go that direction. I'd like to go doing the theaters. I'd like to get on tour with someone like Nate Bargatze. I would love to, like, there's so many areas I'd like to go. One thing I've learned in my life, and everybody's probably not, I don't want to go anywhere God doesn't want me to be. So my prayer every morning is that he closes doors no man can open and opens doors no man can close. And so there's been, I was moving towards being on being in the final for a competition on Broadway. And I'm like, it was happening. Like I was steamrolling through every round and was doing great. And then the writer's strike happened and they said, well, we're shutting that down. And I was like, and instead of getting mad, I'm like, oh, that's a door. Like that to me is a slam door. Mm-hmm. The Houston's Funniest, when I bombed like that was a slam door in the face. Like, okay, that's not the direction I'm supposed to go. If that's, you know, that's, so there's just so many directions and I can't answer that for you. Cause if you'd asked me 4 years ago, I would have never told you I was doing comedy.
Yeah.
I want to be in God's will with everything that I do. Like I'd rather be there than, you know, what I'd love to do. I'd love to get on tour with Nate Bargatze. Like that would be, that'd be a dream for me.
Speak it to existence, man.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan, any of those guys, but Nate Bargatze, hands down, is the guy I want to be around. Like just because, he's my style of person.
Yeah.
He treats, like I said, the 10, and then the way you treat people, and everything I hear about the way he treats everybody. Just that, you know. All those guys like that. I'm very big on how you treat the lowest person. When I'm not on tour, I go to my wife's school and sub because they don't have subs. And one of my gifts is connecting with teenagers. And so if I'm not on the road, I go to the school and I sub. Yeah. And I make it a point every day. I'm going to find somebody, if it's a cafeteria worker, cleaning lady, another teacher, another sub. I'm going to find somebody and I'm going to make it a point to ask them how they're doing. Have them tell me how they're doing and do something that makes their day.
Yep.
And that's every day I want to bless somebody and do, you know. So with comedy, I want to do the same thing. Like I want to, you know, it's such a hard thing because, you know, I've got all these comedians tell me you need to charge this much. I'm like, I just don't think I'm that worth that, or I feel like I'm taking advantage of, you know, stuff like that. So I'm in a really weird crossroads of I could go my own direction and do things, but it's going to take other people helping me to get there now. So I'm just kind of like, okay.
So
if you don't think you're worth that much, you need an agent.
Yeah. I'm not going to call someone and say, hey, pay me this much money.
Yeah.
You know, and then
let the agent
when people do call me, I'm always like, oh, I'll work with you. And I've got all these other comedians saying, stop. So I got the Georgia Cattlemen's Association. They contacted me and they said, we want you to do our state banquet. I was like, okay, that's right up my alley. And they're like, how much you want to charge? I was like, $1,500 sounds good. And they're like, oh wow, we just paid the last guy $40,000. I was like, crap, like. So now I have the best. What is your budget? That's the best question you ask. What is your budget? And then you end up making. Sometimes you make way less than you want, and other times they're willing to pay you that. So it's just. I need an agent to do all that.
You said, well, I got a new special. It's $39,000 for this special.
Yeah.
So when's your next couple shows?
So I have we're moving my son to college. Okay. So
where's he going to college?
He is going to SFA.
SFA.
Yeah,
Piney Woods.
He's on the marching band, so he moves in early. He moves in on the 19th. They have their first practice that night, and then 13-hour practices for 8 or 9 days. And then
well, good thing it's not hot outside.
Yeah, exactly. It's Canada weather.
Yeah,
so we're
beautiful.
good. And so we're moving him and do that some things. So I've got I have a couple corporate events like the 18th. I've got a corporate event, so just some stuff around town like luncheons and things like that I'm doing. And then Hallettsville's my next big show, the 26th, I think. Whatever that Saturday is, 26th.
Okay, that is
Nick Morrison Blazes Hall .eventbrite.com. You get tickets there.
You need to let me. Yeah, you need to let us. I'll keep an eye out for your social, but let me know your next time you're in the Houston area for a show.
Yeah,
to where we can go. We can help promote it.
I got approached last night. They're wanting to do the Majestic, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the Majestic. They approached that producer, and he came to me and said, "You're my first get. They want to do a clean show." And so he's like, "I'd like for you to headline that." And I told him it's in the inner city I don't do as well, and so I was like, I'll headline a feature, whatever you want, but that one would be I don't do a lot of city shows. I did last year, but it's
just not your pace.
Yeah, it's my stuff. It's weird. Like I've really only bombed a couple times, but a lot of the city shows are such small crowds. I don't like doing it's not fun for me when it's a small crowd. Like I feel like I'm laboring a lot more. And so I go to the Jive a lot when I need to work on that. The problem is you got to burn all your clothes because they smell like cigarette smoke and it stains them. But it's where all the good comedians go. And so it's like one of those. It's just a good play. I actually ran into Sean there, and he had somebody with him that was doing comedy for the first time. Was up there the last time I ran into him. I can't. We've done 70-something shows this year, and I think I've only done maybe 12 or 13 in this area. So we've done a lot of shows this year.
Yeah,
it's a lot of travel.
Yeah, that's kind of.
You drive everywhere you go?
No, fly if I can.
Okay.
Yeah, fly if I can. Drive.
Flying doesn't bother your head?
It does. Yeah, it does. I'll usually pass out on the takeoff and pass out on the landing. So,
it's a great party trick.
Yeah. So, yeah.
No, just put I don't want to laugh. Dude, I really don't want to.
If you didn't laugh, I wouldn't want to. So,
I want to travel.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I want to travel with you.
100% transparent with you guys. I told my wife the reason I'm most excited to go here is because I'm like, I'm gonna hit it off with these guys and we're gonna hang out. Like we're gonna be good friends because if you're not gonna laugh at me passing out, I don't want to be around.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take some of these selfie pictures.
Do you know how many times rodeo guys have stayed at our house and I passed out and I wake up to them Snapchatting me? They're just, I saw it. That's the unicorn, So yeah. Man. So I play bass guitar too. I feel like I'm a better
slapping a bass.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a better bass player than anything I do. Like I feel like I can hang with it. So I play bass, and the church I work at, our worship team's just top notch. And so, but they moved the bass stand the other day, and so the lights are right in my face. So I'd reach back and I put the bass down when I set it down. Well, the bass stand wasn't there, and I'd drop it. Everybody thought I passed out. They were looking. Well, I'd step behind the lights to pick up my bass, and so they're all like, and so the pastor's praying, and he just turns around, stops mid prayer, and he's like, "Someone check on Nick." Is he worse? Because we had the quarter incident. We were doing a heads or tails fundraiser, and I was flipping the quarter and picking it up, and I passed out off the stage, head first on the cement. I wake up. The pastor, he's an old flank man. He used to haul bucking bulls back when I was riding. So I wake up and he's like, "Man, you should have seen that bull buck." I was like, "What are you telling me?" I had to figure out what we was doing, and stuff. So yeah.
We're gonna build you a helmet.
No, yeah, I like that's. I don't want to tell someone else a joke, but Andy Huggins cracked me up last night. He was talking about he's getting old enough he has to wear a helmet everywhere.
Yeah.
He said, "I want to look like an idiot." He's like 80 years old.
Yeah, he's
like,
old.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to look like an idiot walking around with a helmet, so I carry a skateboard.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I was laughing so hard at that. Like I was like, I shouldn't be laughing as hard at this as I am, but I think because of my history, it was just so funny. But no, I ain't. I will knock myself out before I wear a helmet.
All right, we'll give you a bodysuit then.
Yeah.
Well, good, man. We appreciate it, dude. This
Absolutely.
has been fun.
I've been looking. I've got a lot of podcasts I'm going on in the next few weeks. This
Good.
one I've been looking forward to.
Good.
Like I wanted to meet you guys, hang out with y'all, and
Yeah,
this is
we
fun.
want to come see one of your shows for sure. Come support you. And like I said,
for
anytime
sure.
you got something,
Hallettsville's not far away.
we can share.
Yeah, I'll give you tickets. Come to Hallettsville. I'll give you tickets.
That's far.
That's an hour and a half from here.
Hallettsville's-
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an hour and
It's
a half. Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most.
I-10.
It's before Victoria.
I've passed it before. I'll pass it. Okay.
Yeah, it's
thought it
not
was
that
further
far.
than that.
Yeah. No, if you guys want to go, I'll give you tickets.
Yeah,
Got
we
some
like.
celebrities coming to it.
I want
that
to.
are-
Yeah, we'll do some promotion for you. Stuff. Anytime you need to share something, man, let us
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
We
Yeah,
mind
for
doing
sure.
it on my
Yeah.
personal end.
I'm not much of a reality TV show guy at all, but
Yeah.
I've watched a little of Outdaughtered
Yeah,
since I
dude.
met with you a little bit, and
Just a dumb
then
uncle.
watch you and him jacked up, and I'm like, make me mad. I can't get in there and work out.
It's all steroids. It's all right.
Yeah. That's the rage roids.
That's it, man. Hey, dude. Everybody got their things.
Yeah. So I appreciate you all having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. This has been a good time. Like I said, I'm glad to finally get you in person. And then
I'm honored with the guests you guys have had. I'm not up to their par, but
No,
Hey,
man.
man.
Hey, nobody can pass out like you.
that's the name of my special. That should be nobody passed out like you. I love it. I need to make a bump. That's my new merch right there.
There you go, man.
Nobody can pass out like
I'm
you.
a branding machine.
Dude, that is. I'm
New
write
merch
that
idea,
down.
right?
I'm gonna forget that. That is.
I'm gonna forget that.
I'm gonna forget that.
You better write it down or else I'll copyright it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is. I love it. That is great.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the line of the night right there.
There you go. Well, I always text him, hey, what's the episode name? We already got it. For
Yeah,
There you
nobody
go.
can pass out. Oh, dude. And when I share that to all my friends, they're going to crack up when they see that.
Let's make a reel of that part, Magnus. That's funny, man. But yeah, we appreciate you coming in, man. I know you had to
absolutely.
take a little drive to come see us, but
an
it's
hour.
this.
It's an hour and a half.
We
We like to go to
like-
the grocery store where I grew up. So
We
this is
like
not
doing
bad.
them. I mean, obviously in person, it's just a better vibe and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, obviously we do some guys that are all over the place.
Yeah.
But anytime we get them in, it's always best.
Yeah,
so
get your AC fixed.
thanks for coming. I know, dude. I'm a little hot.
It's actually starting to get a little cooler in
Oh,
here.
I'm sweating like crazy over
Oh,
here.
dude. We love that.
About 10 minutes from a pass out here before too
Oh,
long.
no, stay in. Hey, turn it off. Turn it off.
Yeah, let's get you on the concrete before you
Start
start.
flickering
If
on
you
and
hang
off the
out with
lights.
me long enough, you will see it.
I
Like,
need.
it is,
Well, I'm
yeah.
not letting you leave without me.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but Nick, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it, dude.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you.